What is up, YouTube? My Cowboys family here, bringing you guys the latest update on our very own Dallas Cowboys. And of course, as always, thank you so much for joining us here tonight.
Yeah.
Take a second to hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, follow us on all social media at MyCowboysFamily, and hop in the Discord. Link for that's in the description box down below. And of course, this bit of a Sunday recap is a little bit different since our Dallas Cowboys did play yesterday, the first preseason game, our first little taste of football. And we, of course, have a few things to touch on from the results of that game.
Yeah,
so
with
that said,
a lot of news, info, and updates coming from this one, and we're going to recap it for you. We're not going to go in extra detail about the plays and who won and lost. That's irrelevant. We'll let you know the bigger picture.
Yeah, again, guys, it's a preseason game, so there really are only major beat points to touch on, but we're going to touch on all of those, of course, and the next, things, of course, happening here on MCF in this upcoming week, all that good stuff.
You're going to take a look at McCarthy's little offensive scheme, too. We talked about it yesterday.
This is our first taste of McCarthy running the offense.
We brought it up live, what was going down, but, I kind of took another look at it, and I got a couple more ideas for you guys about what we're going to see with this offense when the starters are in. Ooh, man. Anyways, you see it here, opening this thing up here, but it's the end of the week, so we might have some new champions here. Last week we had a complete takeover from this guy, Jason Renfro.
Woo!
Yes, you see him up there. He's the Cash App King. He's the sponsor of the week. He is as you can see, the 35 gifted memberships last week for the championship there, edging out Skeptical Fan, who's won it for 3 months in a row. Well, Jason Renfro took it last week. This week, it's a battle once again on all the boards. But much love to Jason Renfro on those three sides of things. We know who's leading the whole thing right now, right, baby? Mm-hmm. Same guy who's leading the Cash App as we speak.
And we all know why he's here.
You know why.
It's SnugX.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Snug. Appreciate the support on all sides, of course.
Yes. And he is also the stream boss. 49 points, just a hair under that Devin Harper 50 right there. So, SnugX, much love to you as always. We'll see if he holds everybody off to capture both crowns. And we'll see if Jason can hold everyone off, because currently he's in a 7-5 battle against Bobby Bottles in the membership gifting side of things. So he's trying to go back-to-back, Mr. Jason Renfro, like our 90s Cowboys. We'll see what happens at the end of tonight. And by the way, I do want to shout out Jason Renfro once again, because he did drop a gifted membership yesterday. For some reason, YouTube didn't have it pass through our sides visually, but we did see it on the back end. Went back and checked it. Much love, Jason Renfro, a gifted membership from yesterday. That's why instead of 6-5, it's 7-5 over Bobby Bottles. And again, Skeptical Fan has 2 on this list. You never know. Everyone is in striking distance for that membership crown. So
that's right.
Appreciate everybody on all sides of things. Also, got to give the big shout-outs to those in the star-level membership. Lincoln Kane from Australia, Mary Alvarez, Andy Potts, Dwayne Broussard, who, by the way, dropped a pre-stream $2 holler.
Go Cowboys.
Go Cowboys there. Of course, the magnificent final 2, Jason Renfro, the current leader, And of course, skeptical fan, always staying skeptical. We got a little membership, a little raffle coming up here from Mr. Skeptical Fan right around the corner. And as you can see, we talked about super chat, talked about you can jump into memberships, you can gift memberships. There's even the thanks button when our videos post, or we post just straight up videos. There's 4 other ways to come and get into that Cash App crown, that crown we got up there, which right now SnugX is leading. These are the 4 ways, additional ways you can drop some love here.
Of course, you have the Cash App money sign MyCowboysFamily, the Venmo at My-Cowboys-Family, the regular PayPal link, and last but not least, of course, the Streamlabs lets your comment show up on screen just like a super chat.
And as we take this off here, I want to say one last thing here about the star level membership. Now, we talked about this, talked about all of this introduction, and now let's talk about the family in the chat right now.
Of course.
Who's in the house, baby?
Shout out to Beat by Money. Raul, what's up? Yes, I'm glad everyone had fun yesterday during our, of course,
overtime
preseason
session.
Game day reaction.
Yes, I am recouped. I'm recouped. It was close. This afternoon, I think I finally felt okay.
Yes,
Not better, but okay.
I had a very long sleep. We'll definitely say that. Oh, thank you for summing it up there, Ronald Hamilton.
Yes.
Appreciate that.
You.
Much love.
Thank goodness it was an earlier kind of session, I would say. We were able to get out of there a little earlier in the sense of get off of that hangover.
Oh, but Eric Wallace, what's up? Asmodeus, much love. Traveling Fools, what's up? Dwayne Broussard, the top dog in the house. Cactus G, in the place to be. Big Boss Man representing Mackenzie 2 times. Hello and hi.
Two
Mike Aldana, much love. Double R, hello. Thomas Garrett, the superior Garrett. Skeptical fan, always staying skeptical. Freedom first. Who was first today? We have Rolando Rodriguez in the house. Hello and hi. Andrew Ruiz, much love. Marco Seppian, aloha, mahalo to you.
Yeah.
I don't know if you were able to catch us yesterday showing off your
shot glasses.
Awesome brand new shot glasses, and we definitely put them to use.
Yes, we did.
Just yesterday.
We broke them in yesterday. By the way, Jason Renfro, forgot to say this, but over earlier today, he dropped $1.20 holler in the Cash App.
Thank you, Jason.
Trickling up, trying to catch SnugX. We'll see. But either way, Jason Renfro, much love and appreciation to you on that side of things. Everybody here, 30 people plus in the house, hit the like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Any quick comments before we get rolling in this thing, baby?
Let me see. Rolando Rodriguez said the Cowboys need to extend Zach Martin and bring Zeke back. These running backs can't block.
We'll talk about the running back
thing.
Scotty,
what's up? Much love. Let me go back here. Beat by Money said Clark and Overshown are the linebackers of the future. So we definitely did see a very nice little flash of the future. Cactus D said Deuce is a effing ninja. So yeah, he's definitely got the moves.
I told you guys.
So
I'm trying to tell you guys all week.
But yeah, let me hand it back to you, baby, so you can continue to tell us a little bit more about what's going on right now.
Well, let's start off with just a quick NFL blurb here. Quick little NFL news. Not a big deal, but Jadeveon Clowney, who's been mentioned in the past with maybe he's coming to Dallas, and a free agent pass rusher was signed today by the Jacksonville Jaguars, our opponent from yesterday's game there. And his visit, I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. He did not sign with them yet, but he visited the Jaguars today. They did not sign him yet. They think they may sign him. Nothing is really set in stone yet. He also visited the Ravens a couple days ago. So Clowney is going to try to, he's going to get signed soon. Who will it be? Jacksonville, Baltimore? It doesn't matter to me too much because it's AFC and whatever. But anyways, I know a lot of people, like Jadeveon Clowney. I don't really know if I would pay the money he's probably asking for someone like Jadeveon Clowney. Now, I want to reiterate, everybody in the house, saw this game yesterday. Don't get upset because we lost. It bothers me that the Cowboy star, took an L. It means nothing. It means 99% nothing. 1% is okay. It means a little something. It means like a little motivation for the practice squad guys. That's not what I'm looking for when you win a game. This is not about team in this scenario, believe it or not. Even though football's all about team, in these preseason games, it's about individuals showing up, popping off the screen. You can't really judge an entire offense or defense based on third and fourth stringers most of the game. So again, we also played starters for the first 2 drives on offense and defense, both sides. So, we actually were playing, what was it? We got a pick against our backups got a pick against their starters. Think about that. So anyways, look, the thing is this. When it comes to preseason games, I want to make sure I reiterate one thing. 11 years ago, I found this literally today. 11 years ago on this day, the Cowboys beat the Raiders, the Oakland Raiders, 3-0. We won 3-0 in preseason. And that was a kickoff to our preseason. This was 11 years ago, yesterday, literally, our kicking off of the preseason. And I wrote this. I said, quote, Cowboys win 3-0 against the Raiders in their first preseason game equals who cares? A ton of penalties equals same old bad coaching. No injuries equals the only good thing tonight. I think I said facts right there. I know Justin Quarles, the Q man, he agreed. I posted that also. I mean, it came up on my feed there, Facebook. Yeah. So I'm like, I gotta repost this. This is crazy. So, anyways, the point here is that's the important stuff. 11 years ago, we won 3-0, and it was a horrible showing, except for the injuries, which was good. Yesterday, it was. You can say whatever you want. We lost. Okay, who cares? It was a good showing, in my opinion, overall, from a lot of our players.
Disciplined team overall, including depth guys. We saw, everybody stay relatively healthy.
Knock on wood. We'll talk about that in a minute. But you guys understand it. So, again, if you guys are mad that Cowboys lost, don't worry about it. Trust me. Trust your guy MCF here. Now, who played? This is another reason why you don't really going to go by this, because there were 25 players yesterday on the Cowboys roster who did not play Saturday against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mm-hmm. Who were these guys? Dorrance Armstrong had a little hamstring issue. Tyler Biadasz had that rolled ankle. Brandon Cooks, Trayvon Diggs, David Durden, who had that concussion. We saw him die for that touchdown.
Yeah.
Chuma Edoga, of course, that knee issue, he didn't play. Vilemi Fehoko, the rookie, had the shoulder strain. He didn't play. Michael Gallup, Stephon Gilmore, Jonathan Hankins, Malik Hooker, all these guys, just vet days, basically, taking a day off because they're older veterans and not going to start. Ronald Jones with the groin issue. J-Ron Curse out, missing this game on purpose. CeeDee Lamb, DeMarcus Lawrence, Micah Parsons, Tony Pollard, Dak Prescott, Terrence Steele, Tyler Smith, Tyron Smith, Leighton Vander Esch, Jordan Lewis, of course, he's on the PUP list with the foot issue. Zach Martin, the holdout. And Donovan Wilson, of course, the groin. He'll be back in a couple of weeks for the start of the season. So everybody here, either injury-wise or starter-wise, you understand why this game don't mean crap? Nothing. So,
thank goodness.
Cowboy early observations, overview here, on my opinion here, what went down. Look, you guys brought up Damone Clark. He's going to speak today. His increased comfort out there is obvious. To me, that's one of our few starters we had on defense, him and DeRon Bland. And I love what Damone Clark did out there in a consistent way, more confident this year in year two. Kavontae Turpin, Rico Dowdle, they were both explosive yesterday. But both guys had bad ball security. They did not, Rico Dowdle didn't switch hands. You got to switch hands.
I know.
It's a basic, you need to learn that in Pee Wee football. And then
you pointed that out live.
Yeah, and Turpin just got to be better with ball security there. You can't be, you can't slip out. That cost us the first points. And in a real game, that's a starter right there fumbling. So you gotta lock that up there for Mr. Kavontae Turpin. Now, Malik Davis, you talk about Rico Dowdle, he was more explosive. Malik Davis was not as explosive. He had 9 yards on 7 touches in the air and on the ground. Not very good. And he was not good in pass protection. The only guy who was decent, who has the edge, is Rico Dowdle on pass protection. Sorry, Deuce. He wasn't there either. So, again, O-line depth, to me, the biggest concern of this fucking team. O-line depth is horrible. But there's a couple maybe good signs coming forward with the O-line depth. We'll talk about that in a minute. When we have our starters on the O-line with our running back, Tony Pollard, we're going to look nice. I'm going to leave it at that. But where's Zach Martin? Bring him in. Now, injuries. Malik Jefferson, guys, we saw him, number 43, I think he was. No, not 43, number 46. Look, Malik Jefferson injured his plantar fasciitis yesterday in the Saturday exhibition against the Jaguars, and he's undergoing an MRI today. He kind of went over, got an MRI, and severity is not necessarily, it's still kind of to be determined. So we're still waiting to hear definite word on that. Malik Jefferson definitely kind of, I would say one of our more serious injuries from yesterday's game. Again, luckily, I hate to say this, but he would be practice squad right now. Let's be real about it. And but he's a good player. He's been playing good in this training camp. A guy you still want to keep in your team in some way, and training and practice squad would be the way to do it with him. He was seen afterwards walking in the post-game locker room situation with the reporters with no assistance, no boot, no nothing.
That's a good thing.
That's a good sign there. There was another injury that Mike McCarthy brought up yesterday.
Yeah,
and
so
I think you should have that.
McCarthy did mention, I think we're okay. I know he had a couple of guys looked at by Dr. Cooper, but they weren't of high concern. But Nashawn Wright is in a precautionary boot. So again, precautionary. Whatever it is that he has going on, even if it is whatever it is, will probably not be too major.
Yeah, so,
and Deshaun Wright is obviously the biggest
right now,
name out of the guys that got banged up that could possibly play.
I mean, you got to remember, Deshaun Wright is you go past Stephon Gilmore, Trayvon Diggs, DaRon Bland, Jordan Lewis is still hurt.
Yep.
And then you got a lot of questions after those four. But you can look at him, at best, he's our fifth guy. You can even look at Mukwamu in the mix. Kevin Joseph played some slot corner. I'm just saying that there's
we have other guys
corner.
At a similar level as him that can come in and help fill his spot.
I'm not going to forget about Eric Scott Jr., rookie number 37, but he didn't look that great yesterday. Let's just be real. So, we're going to see that still develop, I think, in the backfield there. But again, I think Deshaun Wright, someone to keep an eye on. Malik Jefferson, a guy to keep an eye on when it comes to injuries entering tomorrow's, again, padded practice. A little earlier than expected, by the way. I'll go on that at the end of the stream. Now, continuing our discussion here. The Cowboys, when it comes to the divvying out the offensive snaps, defensively, we knew Mozzie could get a little, some snaps and some of the overshown, and we knew the starters were not going to see much. We had little Sam Williams throughout the game on defense, and a lot of Damone Clark. He had the most snaps of the starters, and a little less than him, a little less than Damone Clark was DaRon Bland. Outside of that, it was all backups or rookies, guys that are on the brink in a rotation. So it wasn't on offense. We knew we were not going to play a lot of the starters. Most of the starters didn't play, but there were a couple like Jake Ferguson and some guys that might have to have some rotational duty. So how did the backups kind of do here in the rotation? The Cowboys basically achieved what they wanted to do on Saturday when it came to workload distribution, specifically at the running back position. Malik Davis, Rico Dowdle, Deuce Vaughn, and Hunter Lipke. They all saw 16 to 20 snaps on offense. Nobody there in that group of four running backs saw less than 16 snaps, and none of them saw more than 20. So that's important to note, and we got a good look, even average look at all four running backs. Of course, Lipke and Deuce Vaughn were against, I'd say, deeper players on the depth chart, while Rico Dowdle and Malik Davis played against the starters. So I think that shows us, maybe next time we get a little more Deuce earlier, Hunter Lipke a little earlier, and maybe, Rico and Malik Davis. We got to find out which guy is going to pull away from there. So, again, when it comes to that, guys, 4 to 6 of their snaps also were on special teams for those guys. So they had 4 to 6 snaps, all of them. So it's good to see them all getting used in this rotation on offense and special teams. As far as tight end, we know Ferguson had a great start to the game, and he had like 3 targets for like 3 catches. The guy was great out there. He had only 10 snaps though in the game, right? So again, a small amount of looks, still made a lot with that. Peyton Hendershot, he's a guy that got about 15 snaps in this game, so I got 5 more, but didn't get that much work. The guys that got work, Luke Schoonmaker got 28 snaps yesterday, which is good to see him kind of getting in the mix. But man, look better than him yesterday. He's on our thumbnail. John Stevens, to me, he is a guy that's going to be.
He did do very solid.
Yeah, he's number 49, and that's, by the way, SnugX had 49. But again, 49 was doing something great out there, in my opinion, at the tight end spot, really making a move for Sean McEwen's number 80. He's number 84, making a move for his spot. It's Chris Plumage. Congratulations to him. He's the lucky winner. Lucky recipient of Jason Renfro's gifted membership.
Thank you so much, Jason, for showing and gifting the love there. Appreciate that, of course.
I hope he heard
Chris
me.
Plumage, drop him if he got it.
Yeah, I hope he heard me say earlier, Jason, that we did catch the other drop. You did. I did put onto your totals, and we did. You're at 7. Now you're at 8 gifted memberships. Much love, Jason Renfro. He's trying to go back to back on the gifted membership side.
Thank you, Jason. Always appreciate it.
Like who? Like our '90s Cowboys. You know
it. So, thank you, of course.
Yes, appreciate you. I'll fix the board in a minute. Hit up a comment or two, baby.
Yeah, Aaron Hook Chatters, what's up? Jeff Coughlin said, I'm glad everyone has witnessed the reason I've hyped Deuce up since the draft. He can juke you in a phone booth. This guy is for real.
Yeah,
I kind of responded just saying that he is a lot of fun to watch.
I've been trying
him do his thing.
Most of the comments are hating on Deuce. Most of them are like 50% of the comment. They're like, he's gonna get killed. Now that he didn't get killed, they're like, well, he's gonna get killed week 3. Like, no, he's not. He played 3 years as a starter. At Kansas State. Stop the BS, guys.
Yeah,
people are hating.
He was gonna die. I think he would have died before this.
Yeah, they're hating. They're hating blindly. Well, that's a lot of fans do that shit. Or some of them are outside Cowboy fans. They're just jealous.
Like I said, I am super excited about Deuce. But I still do want to see him go up against a few, just regular season games or regular season defenses.
Yeah. I don't think he's going to. I
don't
think injury as much.
Before I get as excited as I think everybody else, although I am very excited.
I don't think that's the thing for me, though. To me, the people complain about he's going to be knocked out in the game. That's so silly because this guy lasted 3 years as a starter. I mean, he's going to. I'm not saying he should start in the NFL. Maybe he'll be worn down faster, but you use him properly, you'll get the most out of him. Simple as that. It's really not that much, not that complex. So I like the way the Cowboys used him yesterday. We'll talk more about that in a minute. But John Stevens, number 49 tight end, he'll change his number if he makes this 53 squad. And Schoonmaker, they had the most snaps there. Again, Stevens had 33 snaps at tight end yesterday. Schoonmaker had 28. So if I look at this list, again, some of the offensive linemen, the depth, got a lot of rotation here. Austin Richards, the rookie, he played 59 snaps along with Brock Hoffman, the center. Will Greer at 55. Farniak had 49 snaps. TJ Bass had 36 snaps with a bunch of tackles. Taylor, Josh Ball, Bostic, Waletzko. Everybody here was playing 36 snaps. And the receivers got a big swath of the snaps here. Tolbert, who did great yesterday. Brooks, 7th round pick. Turpin. John Stevens, in the mix there. You got Dennis Houston, Fajoko. They all got between 34 to 24 snaps yesterday. Deuce Vaughn only had 20 snaps, but damn, they were electric. And I go down the list, guys, but we kind of went through all the numbers here that are important. And I think that the guy who's got to be worried on the tight end side of things is Sean McEwen. I think number 84 is got to be shaking a little bit in his boots. But let's go through when you look at the analytics side of things. The 5 highest grade Cowboy players on offense versus the Jacksonville game yesterday. Believe it or not, I think the highest rated guy, Jake Ferguson, which I believe. You also had Matt Farniak, did a good job in the analytical side of things. John Stevens Jr., number 49, fantastic job from him. And Deuce Vaughn, we already know. And then, they had Brock Hoffman as the top 5 guy. I don't know how Brock Hoffman made this list because to me, he's been a kind of a fighter not in a productive way. On the training camp side of things, he's getting in the picture there with Deuce Vaughn. Listen, we'll see how it works out. I just want to see him produce rather than just talk a lot of shit and then get run over, which he's doing that a lot in training camp. So he had a good game yesterday, analytically speaking. Jake Ferguson played only 10 snaps, but he caught 3 passes for 38 yards. Very productive day for Jake Ferguson. And again, you got guys throwing the ball to him that were not great at throwing the ball, like Cooper Rush.
Ferguson looked really solid.
But the guys throwing the ball to him, Cooper Rush, Will Greer, mention Daxon there. It's going to be a lot better, I'm telling you that right now. Yeah. And then across, let me stop for a second because the man staying skeptical, adding to his record-breaking overall numbers there. Skeptical fan gifting another membership. And Kyle, the lucky winner right there. Much love to the man staying skeptical. Skeptical fan.
Thank you so much, Skeptical. Yes. Much love. Kyle, congrats to you.
And I'll update the board in a minute here. I do want to say that Mr. Skeptical fan, I think he has 3 on the board there. Field goal up there.
I think so.
Against Jason Renfro's touchdown and 2-point conversion 8. So we'll see what happens there. Is Skeptical get his crown back as the gifter? We'll see tonight at the end of the stream. But again, appreciate Mr. Skeptical fan and congrats to Kyle.
And as we go through some of these, people are already doing it. I'm going to touch a few of these comments here in the chat. But let us know in the chat the guys that stood out to you in a good way. Yeah, in a good way right now. We'll get to the not so good in a second here in the sense of, we can touch on those in a little bit. But who are the guys that you saw them and you're like, man, I really like what they did. Clark, Overshown, Ferguson looked good, said Jeff Coughlin. I got to hold up because Jason Renfro gifted a membership.
Another one. And that puts him at 9. He went for 3 field goals. Jason Renfro, 9. Bobby Bottles at 5. Skeptical fan at 3. Appreciate all 3 of you guys on this whole thing. Gifting membership's the best way of giving love to the channel and to the family in the chat.
Yeah, so congrats there, Get Greased. That's an interesting name.
Good name.
So first of all, Skeptical fan said, I want a Turpin to walk home. Yeah,
those drops did not help.
Yeah, he had to run after the bus. But let me see. Yeah, so I touched on Jeff's comment there. Who was it? Drums and Cowboys said, Deuce is a real deal, and Overshown showed lots of promise as well.
Yep.
So Cactus G saying, one of Deuce's best moves happened after the play and out of bounds. When Will rolled left and way overthrew him, Deuce's momentum took him out of bounds when a defender hit him.
I have to rewatch that one. I know that
Deuce flipped the guy completely around and hip threw him 4 yards into the air towards the bench. It was incredible. I liked Deuce before that, but I love him now. I don't think anyone saw it but me. So basically, he ended up bodying this guy into the bench who,
just off his
not
moves.
exactly what you'd expect Deuce to do.
I'm going to say this. A lot of people say, oh, Deuce is the Barry Sanders. Look, guys, chill out. I see a little Barry Sanders in him. You see it in the first freaking plays, but again, he's playing against third and fourth stringers. And he's playing, he to me, is better than a third and fourth stringer. So, again, we've been saying this here in MCF the whole time. I'm saying if he's used right, if he's used as a fullback or some dumb shit, then he's not going to be used right. But if he's used right, you will see some great plays. He'll be an effective player for our offense. That's one preseason game. But the guy already extinguished 50% of the haters because they all say he's going to be dead after one game. And, that's stupid because he made it this far in 3 years of college football. He's doing really good here on the NFL side. No matter what happens, he might not be as great, but he's going to be pretty damn good if used properly. And that's what I think McCarthy did yesterday.
Yeah, I think Aguilar said minus the turnovers and O-line at times, the players did great.
I think execution was the biggest issue for our team. Usually I say the other way around. Usually it's the coaching. I think the execution was the issue, and that's okay. Week 1 of preseason, that's what you're going to get. A lot of mistakes. You got to clean it up, and week 2 it's going to be better. Week 3 will be better. Then we got week 1. You got to be perfect then, in my opinion. So, we're going to talk about Deuce Vaughn a little bit in more detail here in a minute. I know he spoke as well.
Vaughn, overshown. Ferguson also looked great to me. Skeptical fans said Rico Dowdle needs to play all the preseason games.
He does. He needs to play in them all, but so does Malik Davis, and we got to see everybody kind of get their shot, I think. Eventually, if Ronald Jones gets back, let's see a couple of runs from him, a couple snaps from him, to see if we can even bother keeping him.
Yeah, but I understand, just because, again, Dowdle is obviously very clearly the Cowboys' favorite to be the RB2, so we have to make sure his hands are safe.
Got to make sure.
After that little slip-up
he will get a lot of runs for sure in the next 2 weeks in preseason. Much love to Brandon James with that Cooper Rush $10 holler dropping.
Ooh.
What did the man say?
He said, should the Jets pursue 6-time All-Pro Zach Martin ahead of the regular season? Go Cowboys.
The Jets? I mean, pursuing him is one thing. They got to trade.
They can't really pursue him.
They can pursue him until, when we say, okay, we're waiting to trade him, then sure. I don't think the Cowboys are going to trade him, but the Cowboys playing hardball right now, and it'd be a dumb thing, in my opinion, to not sign Zach Martin. To trade him to the Jets or anybody to be stupid. For the Cowboys to do, the Jets, probably the smart move unless they're giving up 5 first-rounders. And I guess then we can do it if you're the Cowboys. We'll take it then. Skeptical fan Jason Renfro back-to-back. Like our 90s Cowboys there. Jason Renfro with $1.20. I don't know if Skeptical's dropped, but it's $2.61 on my side.
Yeah.
Appreciate both of you guys. What do they say, baby?
So, of course, Jason Renfro said go Cowboys. Skeptical fan with his drop said, Stevens tight end is my new pet cat.
From our 49.
John Stevens, right?
Yep.
He did do, again, he really showed up and showed out, even against, fellow third and fourth stringers, so to speak. So, really well done by him. I was actually pleasantly surprised by his performance. So, it seems like maybe him and Will Greer also seem to have a bit of a connection there, since maybe they played together for a little bit. So, throwing that out there.
That's a great point, actually.
Raul said Overshown was a nice surprise. He had, I didn't want to say it at the time, right? But he brought some Micah Parsons type energy.
I mean, I think he
to
was
defense in the sense of like I said, his energy, the way that he came onto the field, the way that he was attacking these plays, the way that he even when he missed, it's like, I don't know, it was definitely one of the more intense players.
He had
on the field,
great acceleration,
and he did have a great game on top.
Great acceleration, great burst to unload on players. When he knew he was going to come down your way, he blew you up. So I loved seeing that, and it was consistent from him every time he had
our O-line depth. Yes,
that's the biggest issue.
Absolutely horrible.
Yeah,
have to agree with that one.
Again, appreciate you guys. Skeptical, Jason Renfro, Brandon James Shea, the rest of the crew, the membership, gifting, all of that stuff, the Cash App. Thank all of you. Truly, thank you guys. Now, as we continue rolling here, because we ain't done, a lot to go here. And again, we're talking offense right now. I want to keep it on the offensive side. Jake Ferguson, great. As a starter, him and Damone Clark, to me, were like the equals on offense and defense. They were like the starters getting extra reps. They were second-year guys. They were going to get much more usage this year than they did last year, right? And it all fits. Ferguson's got an uptick. So did Damone Clark. They're both going to be full-time starters the entire year. And they got a whole quarter and a half to play, a whole quarter. I know Ferguson got a quarter, and I think Damone Clark got almost a half of play out there. So Damone Clark, number 33, and Jake Ferguson on offense, I mean, they did great, I think, both of them, and they're both starters. Keep that in mind. Now, let's go to the other offensive players mixing the match in here. Across 39 pass blocking snaps. 39, and he was in the game for the most anybody else. That's Awesome Richards. Now, Awesome Richards is our 5th round draft pick. Offensive guard from North Carolina, offensive tackle, but he plays guard and tackle. He played all over the offensive, in the left side of the offensive line, I think. But 39 pass blocking snaps for him. And he was only credited or given he allowed 2 pressures against Jacksonville. And again, he had the most snaps in the game, but he had also the most pass blocking snaps in the game for the Cowboys. 39 pass blocking snaps equals 2 pressures only. So even though he did miss, there was one miss, he allowed a sack, but it wasn't his fault. Will Grier walked into the sack. Awesome Richards did the right blocking, so it looked at first number 76 was a mistake. It was not. He actually blocked him right. Will Grier walked into the sack, kind of similar to when Deuce Vaughn was trying to pass protect for Will Grier, and Will Grier ran into the sack as well, even though Deuce Vaughn couldn't really. It was really bad positioning for Deuce Vaughn, and his height definitely didn't help. So the point is, Awesome Richards did awesome, only allowed 2 pressures. A guy in depth that we need some kind of depth on that offensive line. He did good, but I'll say this: he has to be quicker out of his stance. Awesome Richards. Again, I don't mind it. Fifth rounder. He's got to get better. He's a depth guy. We'll see what happens. But again, he looked really good. That was at tackle. At offensive guard, he looked even better, which is exactly where we need him at. Yeah. So that's a good sign there for Awesome Richards, his first game, number 76, 5th round rookie. Now let's go to the man, Deuce Vaughn. And actually, let's get a little visual for him, because it's always good to have a lot of Deuce Vaughn visuals. It's always fun to see. So Deuce Vaughn here, again, this is in training camp. But let me just go through some of the stuff. And I know, baby, you have some quotes from the offensive side of things. So, yeah, he spoke today. He spoke after this game, one of the stars of the game, Deuce Vaughn against the Jags. Listen to this, guys. Again, he played 20 snaps. But he didn't mean he got the ball 20 times. He played in 20 plays. He had 8 carries and 3 catches. So in the 20 plays he played, he had 11 times he touched the ball. That's over 50% of the time he got that's pretty good. He got a good usage for 20 snaps. 8 carries, an average of 6.2 yards per carry. 6.2 from the little man. 50 yards of total rushing yards for him. He also has a touchdown on the ground. He caught 3 passes for 6 yards. Not much there, but that was a big 3rd down catch. He got a first on the goal line, basically, and the next play he ran it in. So that was a Deuce Vaughn drive in that 4th quarter. I think just basically the end of the 3rd into the 4th, that was the Deuce Vaughn drive. And when you look at the review by the analytical side of things, Deuce Vaughn averaged 5.4 yards after contact. He had 6.2 in the game, but after contact, he got hit right away. He still averaged almost 5.5 yards after getting hit for the first hit, the first contact he had against Jacksonville. That was a game high on the Cowboys and on the Jacksonville Jaguars. Even Etienne, their starter, Deuce Vaughn had a better game than all those guys. So great job there, Deuce Vaughn. I mean, you see him here in practice. We've been telling you guys, the reason I'm throwing these videos up and I've posted so many of these up is because the guy has something that you don't see every day. He is 5'5", but you don't see these moves and the inability to really kind of target him and hit him. It's not, everyone's like he's going to get killed. You got to catch him first. You got to be able to hit him. And even if you hit him, you're dragging him down. You're throwing him down, but you're not really giving him a direct pop. So that's the thing. I think that if he had multiple direct pops, I think it'd be a little bit different situation for him. But because he has been so difficult to kind of just corral, it's going to be really hard to take him down. Now, watching here, we'll watch again. Baby, what did Deuce Vaughn say? After, the game yesterday, of course, one of the stars, for it, without question, Deuce Vaughn, one of the highest rated analytical guys on our offense. And him and a couple of guys spoke, too. Who was the other guy that spoke there? Jalen Tolbert had a great game. Spoke. But let's start with Deuce Vaughn. After, you see him here on a gold line, when you try to power him in, that don't work as good for Deuce Vaughn. But when you put him out there in a shotgun, that's the only time I advocate for shotgun. Near the goal line, you can then use a little Deuce Vaughn like you saw yesterday for that touchdown. So before I
touch on what Vaughn said, real quick, after his first preseason touchdown.
Ever.
Yes, of course. Several of his teammates came up to him and specifically said, first of many. So I just kind of wanted to point that out.
First of many.
It wasn't just one or two. It was several teammates. So I love that Cowboy camaraderie there.
Camaraderie is good.
There you go.
And the Cowboys are ready to they see it in practice. We see it in practice. The haters don't watch it. The haters now know. Even some of the haters still saying he's going to get hurt, and they didn't even watch this game.
Yep. You know what Deuce Vaughn sees?
He sees
the football field, because he said, quote, "I never notice the crowd whenever I'm playing. I feel like you're so locked in and everything, but just knowing that support is there, it's huge. It's a lot of confidence for yourself when you're playing, and it's unreal. But the crowd was electric tonight," which, by the way, guys,
so was
in
he.
case you didn't know, 82,000 in attendance.
82,000 for a preseason game? What the hell's going on?
Game.
That's awesome. Cowboy, Jerry Jones is happy, and so is Brandon James Shea dropping that $2 holler, by the way.
Brandon. Always appreciate
Brandon
it.
went from a tie at the bottom of 11th place to now 10th place, almost in the single digits on the board with a $2 holler. What did Brandon James have to say?
He said, "I like Deuce Vaughn. He's a beast."
It's crazy, right? Again, a lot of people just the sixth rounder, end of sixth round, and we got him then. I thought he was a decent pickup, a very decent pickup at that late in the draft. I thought we'd go someone bigger. Cowboys want to go faster. That's what McCarthy wants. He don't want the big bruising get backs. He wants the quick guys, and he found one here with Deuce Vaughn. Much love, Brandon James Shea.
Yeah, so, like I said, he has added in there a little bit more. Like, part of the things that he needs to continue to do is just stay patient. That was the game plan coming into the game. I was making sure I was going to be behind Malik and Rico wherever they were in, just looking and seeing things that were going on throughout the game so that whenever it was my time, I could go in and be successful. So, and of course, halfway through the second quarter, that's exactly what happened. But it did happen after he had that little special teams blunder. Remember that? So as far as that, Vaughn said, after I let the first one go, especially with the guys that were out there on that kickoff return team, they were saying, "We're right there behind you." Right? Caught it a bit deep with them. But them telling me that when we were back in the huddle, I knew that all those guys had my back. So basically that he was able to kind of brush it off because his teammates were able to, like, brush it off and basically just say, like, "You're going to be good."
Nice.
So
that's the support that he needs.
Love to see it.
Everyone knows watching. Everybody in the team knows they're watching Deuce Vaughn.
And I particularly liked what he had to say next as far as how he was able to look so good out there. He said, "Great blocking. It opened up real nice and it got me to the second level. Whenever you get to that second level, I feel like that's where I excel. So that's where I do well. And anytime you have a safety coming from the post and it's a one-on-one, I like myself." So.
Well, I trust me, I think we all see how good he can be when it's a one-on-one situation. He's going to take you down. Here, Malik Hooker would have seen it would have been a touchdown if this was tackling right here. Boom. Gone.
So he also said, "I take a whole bunch of pride in as far as, like, in pass catching." Added in there, "I feel like that's just another part of being versatile throughout the backfield. I get on the jugs machine every single day. Malik Davis keeps me accountable. We get on the jugs after every single thing, whether it's a practice or after a mock game. We're on those jugs pretty much the last two out there every single day, and I take a lot of pride in
guys,
it."
the jug machines are the ones that shoot the balls out. And you see CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Cooks and Gallup, and they're all catching it, right? The receivers usually use them, tight ends. But Deuce Vaughn's also using that. You see him in some of the photos or some of the videos we have shown. He's jumping up in the air, catching in that blue multi-armed dummy machine, whatever. He's jumping up in the air, catching the foot. He's practicing these high point catches. And you saw it in that game yesterday when he came back into that receiver kind of like in, over the middle there and got the, a little high pass. I guess everything could be high for him. Will Greer already overthrew him once. This time Deuce Vaughn made the catch. Great hands for Deuce Vaughn.
So, let me see. I think he had one last little thing to say here, added in there. "I feel like that's the biggest thing for myself. Coming in and proving to people that believe in me, coming in and proving the people that believe in me right. It doesn't stop now. You go back to work Monday, and you get ready for the next preseason game." So,
he's going to bounce back.
Honestly,
he's
going to
be probably used a little more.
It's hard not to like him, especially now with everything kind of all said and done in that regard. So
No, I just want to quickly say Jason Renfro saying cut down day. I was only asked if our cut down day, what's the first cut? There's one cut, August 29th, Tuesday. That's it. And it goes from 90 to 53. It's a big cut down day. It is. A lot of devastation's going down there. Yes, Scorpio in the house, Cactus G, Jeff Coughlin, Scorpio, Drums and Cowboys, Modius, Michael Donna, Thomas Garrett, everybody. Hitting that like, hitting subscribe, hitting that notification bell, follow us on Twitter at MyCowboysFamily, and on and on and on.
Yes.
So I wanted to, again, great stuff on Deuce Vaughn. I actually was going to throw in there a couple of kind of side comments about some off. I'll wait for you to finish with what you were talking about when it comes to the other offensive player that spoke, but also hit up the chat because we got Skeptical fan, the old Skeptical one with that $2 holler.
He said,
what did the man say?
Deuce can jump pretty high for his height.
I agree. Agreed. Will Greer still got to get a little bit, lower for, a little bit lower to the ground on a couple of those passes. But yes, Deuce Vaughn, very athletic, very nimble, very agile. Shiftiness is off the charts, elite. Again, all this makes him look a little bit like a tinier Barry Sanders. But again, I want to caution: let's not put these guys into the greats yet. He's looking like someone we haven't seen in a while out on that field. So let's hope it keeps going that direction. One game, one preseason game against third and fourth stringers, but you see the talent from number 42. You see it. Agreed, Skeptic. Agree.
But yeah, I mean, hey, even short people can jump. Right?
Hey, listen, and he can. Hey, Spud Webb. He's Spud Webb of the NFL.
Remember, just because he's shorter, at least from looking at him, it does look like his arms are a little bit longer than the rest of him.
The issue is, when he was pass blocking, that's where you see the arms not being long enough. He had stepped in too much. The guy took the outside kind of pressure, and then Deuce Vaughn, his arms wouldn't even reach that far. So even if they're a little longer, you may look. They're not long enough for consistent pass blocking, but they're perfect for what he needs to do. And that's hold on to that football and get through that, and just make his moves and be natural out there.
Mm-hmm. So, Cactus, he said, Deuce has a lot of bounces, get up and quick. Manogadet said Darren Sproles 2.0.
Agree. I mean, the closest thing to him, I know people say Marcus Jones-Drew. I know other people say Warwick Dunn. I think he's just Deuce Vaughn. And let's see what he can do. Let's get Deuce Vaughn the ball on one-on-ones. Imagine him against any linebacker. Like, not a Micah linebacker, but any linebacker. They're like LVEs or Demo. He's going to win 99% of those battles. Imagine him against a corner or a safety. And one move is done, and they're done. I mean, it's just saying. There's really, it's going to be hard for teams to stop him. And then and even if he's in the game, and we have three receivers in the game at that play, what's going to happen when they start looking at Deuce Vaughn? What about Ferguson? What about CeeDee Lamb? What about Brandon Cooks, Michael Gallup? What about... if we have two running backs at a time, you could see that. I mean, what about Tony Pollard? There's like 4 or 5 extremely dangerous weapons on the Cowboy team and a couple other good ones in there too, whether it's Dak's legs to go run for 5 or 10 yards or Ferguson to catch an 8-yard, 9-yard, whatever. We got a lot of weapons we can use on this team on offense, and it's in McCarthy's hands, not Dak's hands. It's in Mike McCarthy's hands. I'm looking forward. I think he's kind of just fueling up. I'm going to talk about Mike McCarthy a little more detail later, but I think that what we saw yesterday, I talked about it live. I think that the breakdown of what he's doing is it's being shielded by the fact that it's vanilla offense week. It's not going to be showing everything. Probably in 2 weeks you'll see a little bit more of what we're probably going to do with the starters. But anyways, we'll keep talking here. I think anything else on Deuce in the house. I mean, I know we're going to talk about Deuce forever. But I'm ready to kind of move on to more a couple other offensive players.
Deuce is a superhero. He could be Elastic Man.
Someone called him.
He'd be the human pinball.
Someone called him Speedy Gonzalez. Somebody called him the Tasmanian Devil.
Yep.
There's a lot of good names going around, but Deuce is loose. Sounds like the best one right now. I don't know.
We'll have to see here for now. Evo Polanco, Eric Black, thanks for joining us here.
Eric,
and what about the Philly defense? What about them?
What about them? The Philly defense, they're going to stop. They're going to be able to corral Deuce every play. That's for sure.
So, honestly, Scorpio, I don't know if McCarthy was mad as much as he was, like, a little flustered and overwhelmed. He kind of touches on that. Remember, he's finally flexing his wings as an offensive play caller again. So, you have to imagine there's a bit of dust to knock off there.
Yeah.
So, anyway, before I hand things back to you, baby, I did want to take a second here to remind everybody to hit like if you haven't already. Subscribe down below if you are new here. Follow us on all social media at MyCowboysFamily. You never miss a live stream if you hit that notification bell as well, because we post not just live streams, of course, videos, reactions, all sorts of other
tomorrow
things.
The videos come back, guys. And also I just want to see, we talk about Deuce Vaughn. How about that comparison? Deuce Vaughn, 5'5", and then is Pirulu, number 72, he's 6'8".
Literally looks like somebody left their child.
It's take your child to work day.
Yeah,
but,
like their kids stayed on the field, and then that
this,
adult league is about to go play, and
this quote unquote child, this Deuce Vaughn, he'll break your ankles and then leave you crying. I love it. So let's talk about another guy maybe that spoke on offense before I finish up the offensive kind of wrap up here. We look at the depth chart. We've seen, of course, on the offensive side, the receiver side, you got Brandon Cooks, Michael Gallup, and of course CeeDee Lamb. Who is number 4? And I think it became a lot more clear yesterday. It's going to be this guy as of now, number 4 on that depth chart, right after the starters. it's going to be Jalen Tolbert.
Ooh, OG.
Yes,
summing it up.
in the place to be. Welcome to the family. Go Cowboys. Thank you, OG. So, baby, now, as you have here, Jalen Tolbert, number 18, he spoke after the game, who, by the way, caught a touchdown, looked really good out there, ran some really great routes. What do you have to say?
Yeah, he said, I feel like I went out there and played fast, confident, physical. I like what I did out there. Now, I'm just trying to build on it.
Yeah, listen, that's exactly the attitude. He shouldn't be overconfident. He should just be looking at it and saying, okay, here's my chance to build on this and then, get better every week and solidify that fourth spot on the depth chart at receiver.
Yes, and remember, guys, Tolbert scored a touchdown here for our Cowboys, the first one, if I'm not mistaken. And he does have one small regret about it, saying, quote, I didn't really think about it, but I should have kept the ball.
That's first touchdown.
I just knew that I made a play for the team, and after that, I was just looking forward to celebrating with my teammates and moving forward from that point on. I just try to stay neutral and not get too high or too low. I just move on to the next play. It's a day and night, my confidence level.
I love it.
So
from last year in that tough Kellen Moore offense that took him week 8, 9, 10 to the whole team to kind of get on the same page. Tolbert's already on the page. That's big. Big for him going forward.
Exactly. So, love to see it, honestly. He also looked back at some of the film against the Jaguars, or he says he's going to look back on it, and he's looking forward to being able to see the type of progress that he's made, right? He said, definitely. I feel like I went out there and played fast, confident, and physical. It started off this offseason just every day building on it and trying to get 100% better with life in general, whether it's on or off the field.
Awesome. And Tolbert,
just continuing to grow from last season now. From last season to now, we have practice coming up, so I'm looking forward to getting back out there and competing.
And you know what, guys? We're going to take obviously, tomorrow he'll be back at practice. We're hoping, you never know who's going to be banged up or taking a day off. But Jalen Tolbert, he's got to me, it's his job to drop out of that fourth. It's only him that can mess that up. Right now, if he just does what he keeps doing what he's doing, he's number 4 on our depth chart. Anyone goes down, knock on wood, no one does, Jalen Tolbert jumps right in there. And he may be, I think he's definitely way ahead than he was last year. Night and day, like he said, than he was last year at this time. It is no question to me. I love it. I love what Jalen Tolbert is going to bring to the table for our Cowboys in 2023. And even if he's not needed at all, everyone's healthy, he's still going to be playing a prominent role, getting maybe 10, 15 snaps possibly in games. So keep an eye on that for that fourth receiver spot. He's going to get some snaps in games. So now finishing up the offense, baby. I mean, Tolbert, great. I do want to say a couple quick names that I don't want to forget. It's a little detail. John Stevens. John Stevens was an undrafted tight end this year. Pick them up, guys. He's forcing the Cowboys coaching staff into a difficult decision. Because, again, think about our tight ends. Ferguson, the starter. Hendershot, right now, the number 2. Although I'm hearing if Stevens keeps progressing this way, Stevens may jump Hendershot. Now, Hendershot's undrafted last year, made the team. Now he's the number 2. Of course, we got Schoonmaker. Mr. Schoonmaker,
who at
Luke
least
Schoonmaker.
maybe in the Cowboys' mind is like the de facto number 2 or the de facto number 1.
Well,
as far as that's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah,
I'm
right
not
now
really
he
sure
can't
how the
be.
Cowboys see it, but because he's a second round pick, it's hard to deny that the Cowboys definitely want to see a return on that investment in a starting type of way right now. Even if it's not right away in the season, eventually at some point this year.
Agree.
I think the Cowboys would very much like it if Schoonmaker could be officially named as like our starter, even if, obviously at that point we'll probably be halfway through the season. Who knows?
Well, again, I don't want to listen.
I think you got my point there. Hopefully,
if Luke Schoonmaker plays very well, he can do that. If he's like blowing everybody out the way, but I think if Ferguson just plays what he's been doing, he's just there, Johnny on the spot. He'll be the starter this year, I think. And Ferguson is going to be able to do at the very least that. Now, can Schoonmaker eventually jump him? Maybe. Also, think about the way Schoonmaker is going to be used. Not like Ferguson in every situation. So they're I would say they're almost different kinds of tight ends, meaning they're almost 2 different positions. Because Schoonmaker is going to be the inline fullback tight end type of guy, occasionally going in the slot, of course, and moving them around. You saw him yesterday. He got one catch. He did a nice thing off the line of scrimmage, got a first down, took a nice hit there, got right up, back up. I can see him being the replacement, let's say, to Hendershot, in the sense of like he's got kind of that feel to him. But I think Hendershot, he kind of is kind of dangling there at number 2. Schoonmaker can jump him. Look, those are our 3 guys right now, 1, 2, and 3. But number 4 is the bigger question. And you got Sean McEwen, who had like 7 snaps. I think he had 1 catch. And he doesn't do much. He's just your practice squad reliable. That's pretty much what he's always been. Last year, he was our 4th tight end. So now John Stevens, number 49. And if you don't know who I'm talking about, he scored the other touchdown for us, if you don't remember. Running it into you see the bottom right, that's what he got in the end. He was making every catch, making great blocks, and able to, like, when he catches that ball, baby, it was like yards after catch. It wasn't like timber and he goes down, like Simi Fehoko. I saw Eric saying use him at tight end. No, that's up to them. We heard that on the offseason that they might be using him like that, but he's using a receiver right now. To me, he's too slow for a receiver. He just don't look. I don't think I can trust Simi Fehoko. So to me, Simi's going to be in a crowded room if he played tight end. I think what you see him with number 49 kind of shoots off the page. He was undrafted this year, and I think that is a big player to look at here at the bottom right of your screen. I think he's going to be a guy that can help. Obviously, he's going to play special teams. He's a good blocker. He has good hands. He's caught the first like kind of big play touchdown in our training camp when he kind of dived between 2 players in our with our third string crew, and that's when he kind of made his first name for himself. Man, he's been hot since then, and he carried it into the game. You guys feel me? He carried it into the game when the lights come on. He ain't no John Vaya Johnson. No offense to him. But so, again, I got to give this guy respect, extra special respect when it comes to John Stevens at tight end. Like I said, 4th receiver, Jalen Tolbert. The 4th tight end, maybe John Stevens. We'll have to see what happens. Again, Cowboys have a lot of talented tight ends right now to have been kind of in the same tight end room during the broadcast. Through the Cowboys side, Isaiah Steinbeck couldn't help but talk about this John Stevens, who, by the way, baby, converted. He was a receiver. Mm-hmm. He's technically a receiver, but he's playing tight end now. So he's kind of what Eric said in the chat. Simi has already been beaten to the spot. This is Simi Fehoko, number 49. John Stevens is a former receiver who's now a blocking, and that's why he had some great hands. Yeah, because he's a receiver, right? So he's just blocking more now, and he's good at it.
Yeah,
so what do you think about that?
Simi in all these years has yet to come close to that. And someone during our game even mentioned, like, oh, well, Simi's one of the only guys here that's actually scored, with the actual team in the regular season and stuff. Well, did not change the Cowboys' mindset on how they view Simi Fehoko at all. Yeah, so because
you're seeing him
started
dropping off
right where you expected him to, right?
Dropping off there. So look, John Stevens, number 49. John Stevens Jr. is his full name. Let's be respectful. But John Stevens Jr., guys, number 49, adequate size. All right? He's such a good athlete because he played receiver. He can separate from the bigger defenders. This could be, listen, let me just calm down. I'm not going to hype him up yet. I'm not going to ultra, but I think that everyone's kind of right now, whatever, who cares about number 49? Who cares? He ain't, number 49, Jason Witten started off with 49 on his jersey there. But my point is, John Stevens, undrafted, a kind of a guessing kind of player. Like, he's a receiver. He's a receiver his whole college career, pretty much. Converted to a tight end recently, and now the Cowboys found something here. A guy who is really good at blocking, better than Simi at blocking, and a bigger guy's frame. He's also athletic. Keep this guy. If he is one of those kind of guys, I'm hearing he could be knocking Peyton Hendershot down this chart as well. So Schoonmaker, he could be at number fucking 2 right now before Schoonmaker gets the full blast. I'm just listen. Don't kill me, guys. Don't shoot the messenger. But this is a real deal thing here, and he's been consistent. You can see it jumps off the screen. I think we need to see him again with the first teamers. Let's see him with the first teamers, and let's see him in practice in the games against better competition, and then we can break him down a little bit better. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. What do you think, baby, about John Stevens? I'm excited about number 49.
Like I said, a very pleasant surprise in the sense of, like, obviously,
diamond in the rough, right?
Expected him to look the way he did. I kind of mentioned it a little bit earlier a few minutes ago, but it's also nice to see because it seems like maybe him and Will Grier have a bit of a connection, the way that Dak is also connected with a handful of players throughout the years and stuff. So, if Will Grier is a guy that the Cowboys continue to want to keep in the mix, then, this is just a fantastic situation for everyone all the way around. So, and it's just nice to see a guy like Stevens get his moment in the spotlight and continue to hopefully develop.
Yep. I mean,
and hey, there's a spot in the practice squad, hopefully with his, no.
Baby,
it's up to him. I guess up to the
I know you're kind of a little out of it, but I've been saying this, that he, to me, this is not me saying this. This is actually people from the Cowboys kind of implying this. He is going to be the number 2 right now.
Shit.
I think you missed it. You went over your head on this. I know you were kind of reading the chat. But it's again, at this point, no. But in a couple of weeks, maybe. And I said he's going to jump.
Let's see how
and I say number,
baby, even I find that a little hard to believe.
The reason I'm saying this, that's why I literally just said you got to put him against better competition. And I think when you see Peyton Hendershot, I think maybe some people may think he reached his window, his ceiling. I'm sorry, not window, his ceiling. Wrong part of the house. But I'm just saying, like, he reached his ceiling, and I think that is, people are like saying, can he, is he's going to have to be our 3 or our 4 now? Yeah. Now, look, baby, I'm saying this with Schoonmaker.
Okay.
Not being right now top notch in the mix. You understand what I'm saying? Like, that's with him getting half the snaps because he's banged up. Now, if Schoonmaker comes back full blast, he's going to be ahead of Stevens. But then Hendershot would be 3. I'm hearing that that Stevens might make a move for that 3rd spot. Technically, I know right now it's the 2nd spot, but that's why I said he could be the number 2. But when Schoonmaker's full blast, Schoonmaker will be, because he's drafted. I don't care about undrafted or not.
Yeah.
Stevens will drop to our 3rd tight end. But what happens to McEwen? What happens to Hendershot? Questions that must be still. Again, that's why I said let's see him not against 3rd and 4th stringers. Let's see him against 2nd stringers. Maybe it comes starters.
Oh, hey, the rest
That's
of
what I want to see.
Preseason games are going to be important depending on when he plays.
And
right?
training camp, I want to see training camp. I want to see him go up against working with the Cowboys offense, like Dak and CD and and Ferguson in the mix. I want to see all the starters with him against the starting defense on our own side. That's the toughest matchup. More than these games, it's the Cowboy defense. It's prepared this offense pretty well, I will say, for these games. So either way, I really love what John Stevens is doing. I don't know, anybody have an issue with me saying that? I mean,
no, not at all.
Not as a number 2. Again, with Schoonmaker out the picture right now, I think he'd basically be pushing McEwen and Peyton Hendershot down. And he'd jump into at the very least 3rd right now. With Schoonmaker fully healthy, Stevens would be our 3rd tight end. That's where people are thinking he's going to land on this team. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm completely wrong. But Stevens shown something that nobody, I think, expected. I know we talk about Deuce Vaughn, it kind of overshadows it. But Stevens is showing, he's kind of that wild card. I think Jason Renfro said that. Who said that? Oh, Mike Aldana said wild card for now. Woo, scare the hell out of me. I'm going to my thing, going crazy in here. Jason Renfro dropping another one. Another gifted
Thank you so much,
membership
Jason.
and Scott-free freedom. The other crew out there with the LC and the pals there. Jason Renfro gifting it to them. Congrats to Scott Free. And much love to Jason Renfro trying to lock up that gifted membership crown for the 2nd straight week. We'll see.
That's right. Someone over there said, which tight end is the best blocker?
That's a great question. That is a really, now with John Stevens in the mix, maybe John Stevens, look, Ferguson had a great job blocking last year. Hendershot does a great job blocking. I know Schoonmaker is supposed to be really good. I haven't seen enough, but he did do some good blocking in this game. So they're all great blockers. I'm going to say that for real. I don't know. I think Ferguson's maybe the least best out of these guys, which says a lot. And I think that John Stevens now gets in the mix. I know McEwen's a good blocker as well. Man, we got a lot of good blockers. It's hard for me to answer, and that's a great question to ask. So, man, that's a good one, baby. That's good. You plucked that good question out from the crew there.
So, let me see here real quick. Dallas Cowboy 92, 808 Cowboy. Much love to you, of course. Going back here, Scorpio said we have 2 more preseason games to see who takes the spot, Henderson or,
Correct. Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of like where I'm not crowding Stevens the guy. I'm just saying let's see the next step.
Yeah, like
I think take note of him.
Against better talent to see what he
Yes, exactly. I want to see better talent for him to be on the team with more talent and also play against better talent against the Cowboys' first team and against other opponents' first teams or second teams. Then we can see if Stevens is the real deal or not before I crown him, on the team even. But I think that the way he's been playing is so consistent. Guys, even more consistent than Jalen Brooks, who's drafted number 83 receiver. I think he had a good game, but he didn't really get as open as he did in training camp. He still has a high ceiling in my book. But to me, John Stevens jumps in front. In my mind, on this team, I think John Stevens just really put his name on the page now. You got to respect this number 49, and he'll get number 80 something if he makes the 53. Just going to throw that out there. Now, another honorable mention I'm going to throw in there, this will be a little quicker, is Dennis Houston, number 17. I know we forget about him last year. He actually started against Tampa Bay to open the season, week 1. Dennis Houston, guys, I'm going to call it the Deuce Vaughn drive. when he caught the pass and he ran the ball and he did all that stuff. Deuce Vaughn on that drive, Dennis Houston was a major player in that mix. Dennis Houston came up big. He had an 11-yard gain on a 3rd and 8. Ran a great route, great catch, and it was deep in the Cowboys' territory. Which that first down, we were thinking, oh, here comes another punt.
Yeah.
And he kept that drive going, which gave the Deuce Vaughn drive its wings, and we got a touchdown. And we really showcased Deuce Vaughn because of Dennis Houston on that drive. After that 11-yard gain on 3rd and 8, the next play was a 17-yard gain to number 17, Dennis Houston. So again, Dennis Houston, you're still watching him in the mix. He's definitely practice squad at the worst, right? And I think Dennis Houston, it's going to be tough to make the 53, but he showed some flash there for sure. So I think we talked about the offensive side pretty much across the board. I think you talked about Tolbert already, right? So, we got that wrapped up as far as that side's concerned.
Yes.
What about the defensive side? Any last comments on the offense, by the way, by the family in the chat?
Of course, Skeptical
quick
Vincent,
thoughts.
did Dalton Schultz play week 1 in the preseason?
I'll be honest, I don't watch anybody if they're not the Cowboys. I don't know.
Let me see. Jason Renfro said, we have a lot of all-round tight ends now.
Blocking, and they're not the best blockers in the world. They're not like elite. They're very good. They're not elite pass catchers, but they're very good. We have a jack of all trades kind of tight ends, and that's what I think McCarthy wants. I think what Luna Wells wants, tight end coach who specializes in the pass blocking side of things. Started off as a Cowboy. He started as a Cowboy coach way back about 10 years ago or so, and was an offensive line assistant coach. So you see he's got that offensive line blocking is primary for the tight ends to develop. He does a great job on that. Big pickup there. He went to the Giants and came to the Cowboys when he followed McCarthy to Big D.
So, let me see. Rolling back a little bit here. Scorpio said, we have a huge problem at kicker. Our kicker shouldn't miss a 15-yard extra point with 0 wind.
I cannot agree more. Jerry Jones, he ain't changing his mind. It's keeping it the same. We'll hear about that, I think, a little. I don't really have anything on the kicker because you guys saw it. You guys heard our opinions about it. We need to get Mason Crosby, Case Claw. I don't care if he made a fucking 37-yarder. He needs to pull in there an actual kicker that has some veteran behind him, veteran leg behind him, and that's Mason Crosby, former Mike McCarthy guy, but I'm assuming maybe Mike McCarthy doesn't want him. Maybe they had a bad relationship there. I don't know. Who knows? Either way, I say bring in a veteran kicker. Robbie Gould ain't kicking him from 50 and farther, and he's not doing kickoffs. So you'd have to have 2 kickers on your roster. Robbie Gould, fuck that. And you go get Mason Crosby, Matt Prater. There's about 6 good kickers out there. Matt Suck. You got Suck Up. You got Nick Folk even. You got a long list of guys that are pretty solid out there, floating around for $1.5 million. $1.5 million to $2 million. You get these guys. Stop fucking around, Jerry. Stop fucking around. But again, you said it, baby. You opened the show with it. Jerry Jones basically the thought is the Cowboys are not going to get a kicker that's a veteran kicker until kind of the end of preseason, because you can get any veteran kicker then at that moment, and you can say, hey, Mason Crosby, he'll be ready. He's been in the league for 15 years. Whoever you pick up will be in the league for 20 years, 15 years. So you know what they can do. So in my opinion, if you know what they can do, then why don't you fucking sign them, Jerry Jones? Because we don't know what the hell Aubrey can do, and right now it's below average. It's below expectations, way below expectations. Anyways, I'm done ranting. Let's talk about a little defense here. I guess the chat's good.
Yes.
The defense, guys, the 5 highest graded Cowboy defenders against Jacksonville. One of the highest rated guys here was Malik Jefferson. He got injured, so we got to keep an eye on him. Again, he's a guy that was definitely going to hit that practice squad at the worst. Neville Gallimore, who needed a big game. He's been struggling a little bit the last couple of years. Neville Gallimore looking really good out there. Kelvin Joseph, especially at the nickel cornerback spot, that slot corner. Kelvin Joseph did really good. He had a good defensive play there. Didn't turn around, but he had good distance from the player that didn't get called. So, he's got to stack a couple of those together there to solidify his 53. Damone Clark, without question, Damone Clark played off the charts, in my opinion, pretty much. I think he had one bad play. Damone Clark played fantastic. When he was in there and starting, he had the most tackles on the team. At that point, until he got off. Yeah. I think Marquise Bell took over. I'll talk about him in a minute. And Osa Odigizua. Don't sleep on old Diggy. He's been doing some, he's played pretty consistent and solid. I don't know if he missed that. He's one of the guys that missed that sack, though, but I think it was way too late in the game to see him in the game. He's going to be running with that starting kind of defensive rotation front there. So Osa Odigizua is, had a good game yesterday. Now, Malik Jefferson, one of the higher rated guys here, and Marquise Bell. They tied for a team-high 3 run stops apiece. They both had 3 stops for run support. That's important to note, guys. Again, linebacker Malik Jefferson and safety. I'm talking about our 5th safety, Marquise Bell. They're stopping the run, and they're both hitters. We know Marquise Bell is a hitter, so they had 3 run stops against Jacksonville apiece. I'm going to bring up Devin Harper, number 50. Devin Harper had 3 run stops in his own and 14. He only had 14 snaps against the run. So he was very much as playing that like our 3rd string. I'd say he's our last linebacker, our 6th linebacker on our depth chart, in my opinion. Overshown. Come on. Now, he did something out there to me. It was fantastic. The explosiveness, the burst, we talked about it earlier. DeMarvion Overshown closes extremely fast. He has a lot of speed in the second level. I love what he did yesterday. And then, of course, the first-round pick, Mozzie Smith, a 50-50 day for me. It's his first damn game. I think people are overreacting. He played again. You're not going to see him be Aaron Donald the day one, guys. What do people think about Mozzie Smith? But Mozzie still slow. Ooh, I'll say what my Mozzie thoughts are in a minute. First, let's hear what Double R and his thoughts are with that $2 holler.
Ooh, thank you, Double R. Much love with a classic. Go Cowboys.
Ooh, always love that. Go Cowboys.
I appreciate you adding up there.
Yeah.
To the board there, Double R, much love. And, of course, everybody in the chat, drop them if you got them. Drop those emojis. Show your full support there for Double R.
Yeah, much love. Yeah, he's got a gifted membership, and he's in the house. So got Double R on here, and he actually breaks a tie at the bottom of the pile here. At 14, he's no more 14th. He is now officially, I'll tell you in a minute, he's officially, well, let me put it this way. He's officially 14th by himself. How's that?
There you go. So,
I don't know if that makes it any better, but there you go.
So, but yes, our linebacker situation is crazy to think about, considering even just a handful of years ago, the best we could do was Sean Lee getting hurt. So, and I don't mean that as like a diss to Sean Lee, just saying that straight up, even when he was good and ready to go and available and ready to kick ass, take names, it feels like he got hurt before we really got to maximize his usage.
Agreed. And the biggest thing about these 3 guys I just mentioned, I'm going to mention them again. Malik Jefferson, who did get injured. Devin Harper, last year's 6th-round pick. And DeMarvion Overshown, this year's 3rd-round pick. These 3 linebackers, you got Jabril Cox in the mix as well. I feel a little bit better about our depth at linebacker than I did before. And, of course, don't forget, guys like Jaron Kearse and guys like Donovan Wilson also play a hybrid role. Mukuamu, they play a hybrid role as that box safety or, a box linebacker. They'll do that as well. So we got like 6 backups right now at linebacker. And don't forget, Micah Parsons also does that role. He could if he needed it, right? If we needed a linebacker in the bench, just push Micah Parsons back there. He's a freaking one of the best linebackers at that position, the off-ball linebacker in the league. Much love to Jason Renfro, who took control last week on the boards and just took all 4 boards. What did he have to say, baby, with that dollar holler?
He said, go Cowboys.
Hell yeah.
Thank you, Jason. Appreciate you.
Always. Go Cowboys. You know it. So, finishing up on my little breakdown here, baby. By the way, Snug X got that 29 points on this stream. He's hanging on. That stream boss. Mozzie Smith, to me, was slow off the snap. He was still slow off the snap when when the ball was hiked and was snapped. So downset hike, and he still showed a little bit of like not that get off you want to see from him. I'm just being real. I'm not trying to be mean to Mozzie Smith. I'm being accurate. I'm being honest about him. Does that mean he sucks? I'm hearing people say he's a bust. What kind of mentality do people have out there? I don't get it. I don't understand it. But to me, Mozzie Smith played very good, taking on double teams. Again, slow off the snap. That's true. Gets him into trouble when he's slow. That power which he has, it's diminished when he's that half second, split second slower.
Yeah. So
to maximize his power, you got to get faster off the ball. That's an issue he's having. And I'll say this: he's still not. Of course, people expected him to be Aaron Donald out there. He still is not ready for like the pass rush to all 3 downs kind of guy. Can he get there? Hell yeah, I believe he will get there. Maybe the end of this year, maybe the middle of the year, maybe next year. But he'll be there, I think, at the latest sometime next year. Mozzie Smith right now is a first and second down type of guy for sure. Solid. You saw him take on double teams. You saw him in there, not letting the offensive lineman get to the second level to block the linebackers. So, again, I thought it was great. Every time, almost every play, Jacksonville had to double team him. On that fourth down, he did get pushed back a little bit. He's a rookie. He's going to get pushed back. A guy, we always talk about the defensive line, how that takes the longest to develop. So, if he can just do what he did just for his first game on that field, when he's like, he most of those reps he won when he was double teamed, that's a huge win for the Cowboys. People want to see him get sacks and get tackles for loss. Forget all that shit. He had like one tackle for loss. Who cares? I mean, I care. I want to see him get better, but right now all we need him to do is take on those double teams. And you saw Overshown. You saw other players, Marquise Bell, Damone Clark. Why did they get the numbers? Why did they get the stats that they got?
Yeah.
Why? Mozzie motherfucking Smith. Mozzie Smith helped because he took on the double teams too long for them to take off to the second level, and then they couldn't get those blocks on those guys, which they were making the run stops. That's Mozzie Smith making runs. People, I hope they understand what I'm saying. That is Mozzie Smith making those run stops, even though he has no tackles in the game, let's say. Who cares? Because he's done other things that make the team better, stopping the run, and that's what he did. Now, pass rushing, he needs some work there. Getting off the ball, getting the snap off he's got to get faster off the ball. Those two things are going to be fixed. That's going to come in time. But right now he's doing a great job stopping the run. So I give him a pretty good grade in this game, in my opinion. He wasn't graded big from the PFF guys because he didn't put the stats up. I'm cool with that. We're just low key. We know what he did, and we are very happy about that. Now, another guy who I think did great on that field, another undrafted free agent. Like we just talked about, John Stevens at the offensive side. How about on defense? To me, you got Wanye Thomas, number 30. One of the first plays he got a pick. Our safety, number 30, right? Mm-hmm. A true long shot to make the team. Like nobody's thinking he's going to make it. He had a great training camp so far. Got to see it in the game, right? So showed up in several plays in practice, but then against Jacksonville, he made an interception against Trevor Lawrence, trying to test the Cowboys secondary and going deep on that first drive. It wasn't the first play, it was the first drive, and that's where Wanye got his pick against the starters of the Jacksonville Jaguars. So he tracked the ball perfectly over his head. He snatched the ball out of the air, gave the Cowboys great field position. We couldn't score. Of course, what happened there, we had to punt. But I do want you to remember, guys, that we also had Wanye Thomas. He was burned deep. And they scored. Remember the play that they called him? They didn't get touched, and he got up and ran in the end zone.
Yeah, and then they called it back eventually. But
yeah, they called him back to like the 4-yard line. But my point there is, Wanye Thomas was in almost his best coverage you can. He had great reaction. He turned his head. The pass was unbelievably perfect, and the catch was great.
Just did a great job of actually catching.
Yeah,
it too.
And they did. Simple as that. The great job that's something that even the best player probably would have fucked up on. Like you couldn't stop that play. So to me, Wanye Thomas is playing above and beyond. Now, as another safety in the mix, guys. I mean, Marquise Bell, you got Wanye Thomas, you got Israel Mukwamu, and these are our backups. Our starters, Donovan Wilson, Malik Hooker, and J-Ron Kearse. I mean, that's 6 solid guys. And, hey, practice squad, you got Tyler Coyle. We got the best fucking safety crew, I think, all the way down the line, in my opinion, or at least the best potential behind our top 3. Some teams have one safety that's good, or maybe 2 safeties that are okay, or are like good and then really good. We got 3 solid, beyond good safeties starting, and some really up and coming guys, behind them. I'm really happy about what these guys showed, and they got think about who are these guys? Who should we thank for these undrafted players? Again, I know who really gets the credit should go immediately to the head of the scouting department, which is Will McClay, right? But of course, we know that the guy with the old mullet situation. I forgot his name now. Damn it! But he has Chris Hall. Thank you, baby. Good job. Chris Hall is the guy who really is the guy who helps Will McClay and Chris Hall work on the undrafteds, and they do a great job every single year.
Of that.
Would you say every single year they just hit it out the ballpark? Every year they do it.
With like a 90 to 95% accuracy rate, you know what I mean? Like
fantastic.
It's very rare that they miss on this type of player.
Yeah,
if they go after him.
And they don't even miss. I mean,
when I say miss, I just mean like obviously, like you said, their job is to do the evaluation, bring it to the Cowboys. It's up to the Cowboys to pick. But that's my point. The players that they present to them.
Yeah, but I'm talking more about the fact that they are undrafted. So this is now you got a whole pool of players, and we have these 2 guys targeting some fantastic undrafted players. Like, again, John Stevens this year. Wanye Thomas was last year. But Peyton Hendershot made the team. We got Malik Davis made the team last year. These are last year's guys. We got some guys this year that are going to make the team that are undrafted as well. Not every team has that kind of, I don't say luck, that skill to pick up these undrafted guys. We do. We do, and that's because of Will McClay. So, speaking of undrafted, I'll leave Will McClay up for this one as well. Isaiah Land. HBCU guy, right? He was really upset that nobody picked him up. He's having a quiet training camp. Number 53. We saw him yesterday. We looked him up. The guy was being held. The guy was being disruptive in the backfield. He had a great, great game. He's making a name for himself in the mix as well as a pass rusher. Again, when you look at Isaiah Land, he was extremely disruptive against Jacksonville when he was in the game. It doesn't matter who was lined up across from him. The one thing Mozzie wasn't was explosive off the ball. Well, that's where Isaiah Land was. He was extremely explosive off the ball. Last year as a junior at Florida A&M, he had 19 sacks in 2021. I'm sorry. In 2021, he had 19 sacks. So, again, I said last year. In 2021, he had 19 sacks for Florida A&M, and he was just a production guy in college. Smaller school, but still. You saw some of that skill on that field. Isaiah Land, a steal for us in undrafted lands. At the very least, right now, I think he's a practice squad guy. At the very least. He drew 3 holding penalties. We forced the referees to throw penalties when this guy was being disruptive. He couldn't get a sack. Why? Because they were holding him 3 different times. So that shows you what the effect, number 53, Isaiah Land, the effect he has in that game. So he was on fire. Keep an eye on him. Isaiah Land. Thank you, Will McClay. Everybody together. Let's say it together. 1, 2, 3. Say thank you, Mr. Will McClay. Thank you, Mr. Will McClay.
Thank you, Mr. Will McClay.
So now, I want to just finish up with Isaiah Land. He was our best pass rusher against Jacksonville, finishing with 4 total pressures and a 26.7% pass rush win rate. We're talking about Micah Parsons numbers for the third stringers. But my point is, we might have our Micah Parsons third stringer right here, named Isaiah Land. So again, remember guys, he had 4 pressures. He won his pass rush over one every 4 times. And he also drew three holding penalties. Got to give it up to Isaiah Land. Now, baby, I know you got to give it up to some of the players that spoke. And I know Mozzie spoke, Overshone spoke, somebody. You break it down for me, baby, as I take Will McClay off the field here. And who spoke first?
Well, let's go ahead and just hear from Mozzie, because he did speak, but he did not have much to say, and his answers made me laugh really hard. So he said this after the game, saying it felt like football. I was excited to get out there. He also threw out his knee is fine, right? Like his knee feels good. Like that, it was never an issue during the game. He said, "I'm good."
Knee tendonitis. Remember, that's what he had. So
yeah, and remember, it was brought up during practice and throughout these last handful of days. Obviously, something on our minds, but according to him, it's all good. So he was also asked, "What was the highlight of your day?" He said, "Hitting somebody."
That's it.
And then he was asked, "Well, what was the low light?" He said, "Taking off the pads."
I love this guy. He's a guy made for the Cowboys. He's made for Dan Quinn.
I really have to agree with you on that one.
Love it. Love it.
So beyond that, yes.
That's all he kind of said?
Mm-hmm. So, and our tight end situation, our linebacker situation.
Yeah. All right, so who's up then, baby? Was it Damone Clark?
Yes, it is, because like I said, our linebacker situation is better than ever. So once again, thank you, Will McClay. Sorry, since you said it earlier, I figured we should just thank him again, right? But Clark finally did get to speak. He said, "It felt great just being back out there. I talk a lot about how this time last year I was out on the side, so I'm just blessed to be able to go in and have fun." Which, again, obviously he was not able to participate in training camp last year. Right.
He had the neck surgery, fusion, like LV, but he came back strong in the middle of the year. We didn't think that was going to happen. Stephen Jones was like, it's going to happen. We're like, whatever. It happened. And he played great. It was
one of the few predictions of Stevens that actually came true.
And he played great. And now we said it. We said we want to see him a starter this year with LV. That's exactly what he's doing. By the way, remember last year? That was your favorite pick.
That's right.
That was your favorite pick. That was your number one pick.
Yeah, I know. I was there. So, and obviously, I was very excited for him last year, and I'm even more excited to see what he can do this upcoming year, especially with Dan Quinn leading the defensive helm. But as far as what the defensive unit wants from Clark, he said, "I'm used to doing that, and for me, it was nothing new." Let me go ahead. Stop right there, actually. Give the shout out to the man, Clark motherfucking Kent. Thank you so much with that $2 holler there.
Much love.
Mr.
Clark Kent.
Obviously, John Stevens is quite the favorite because he said it. John Stevens was my favorite. Dude's gonna push Schoon.
I mean, that'd be crazy. We wasted a second-round pick, right? We had a tight end. We picked him up and undrafted.
And that's where I said I have
Osiris
a
Torrance.
very hard time seeing that happen in reality just because the Cowboys, like you said, they invested a second-round pick, and there's no way they're going to just throw that out the window this early. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, we'll have to see.
Schoonmaker will always have an advantage because he was a second-round pick, no matter, even if Stevens is better. But I do think that
it'll take time, and by time I do mean years time, not like
we need like 2 years from now. Maybe John Stevens overtakes everyone, but let's hold up on the hype, right? But I do think he is a guy who went from undrafted to now he's gonna make the 53 possibly if he continues doing what he's been doing. Number 49, John Stevens. But much love there, Brandon. Taking Snug X, so J-Ron Curse, 27 points. But I'll stay with TD here. I like to call Tony Dorsett, but number 33. Our linebacker, Damone Clark, starting there as an off-ball linebacker with LVE. So what else did the man say?
Now, I don't know if you guys remember, but I had asked earlier, like, hey, who's wearing the, Boys World?
Boy.
Thank you for summing it up.
Boys World in the house. Welcome to the family.
Yeah, but I'd asked, I'm like, well, who's wearing, like, who's got the helmet in or who's got their headset in their helmet? You know what I mean? If all the players that typically would get it aren't out there, and guess what? It was Damone Clark.
Damn, I love it because he's again the starter was Jake Ferguson on offense and Damone Clark on defense, who played the most snaps. And really, Ferguson didn't play that much, but Clark and Bland on defense played the most.
Yeah, LVE is one of the guys that usually would have that helmet.
Yeah,
headset
we call it the green
situation.
dot, right? The
green dot
on the helmet. So yep. So he had it. What did he say?
Well, he felt great about it. He said, quote, it brought me back to my LSU days. Everyone's looking at you for the call. I was confident. I got to take a look at the film, correct some things, but that's part of football. And I have to admit, at least on, from what I remember, I think he seems like he did a pretty solid job.
Yeah, I mean, he had everybody in place for the most part. A couple confusing parts in the defensive back end, but I don't think that was on him necessarily. We'll have to see. But again, it's good to have other guys ready to go. Who's the backup to guys, or not the backup, but he's on the field. LV will have the green dot, but if something happens to LVE, then Damone Clark, it probably gets shifted to him if he did a good job. So it's good to know that he felt comfortable there.
So, and of course, he did say it's just practice that's heading into the season. It doesn't matter how long it is. I'm just happy to go out there and get the reps because I need the reps to get better.
I like what he's saying. He knows. The more experience, the better you're going to be. And Damone Clark right now, even though he started for us last year, basically knocked Anthony Barr off the roster, guess what? He's trying to still get better, and we need him to get, as good as he can get to team up there with LVE.
So, and that was it from him, at least. So, thank you very much, Clark.
Yeah, Damone Clark, 5th-round pick last year. But I know that there's a 3rd-round pick that's also playing linebacker for us, former safety. Agent Zero. You know his name. Not Tyler Biadasz. But
I mean, I guess it could be. Maybe.
Is it? Agent Zero?
In the sense of, like, imagine an offensive lineman with the number 0. That would be...
They're not allowed, by the way.
That's right.
Yeah, they're not allowed.
Damn it. That's lame.
I know, but that's the rules.
Still
now,
lame.
Let me fix that. Let me fix it, number 35, DeMarvion Overshown.
There we go.
Let me get him on the screen here. Get your ass out of my face, DeMarvion. There you go. Overshown was, we call him overblown when you said it, but he was blowing people away when he was hitting them a couple times, some accelerations and boost. I loved it. What did he say about his experience yesterday? Yes. First time in a Cowboy helmet. He loved the Cowboys from Texas. Friends of Jerry Jones' grandson. What did DeMarvion Overshown say?
He said, I got the first one out of my way. I got my feet wet, and now I'm ready for the season. So, of course,
he feels good.
He said a little bit more than that.
I know, there's a lot of confidence right there.
Just this little taste of football makes him more excited to want to continue to get out there and putting in the work, right? He had it in there. Just getting out of there, flying around, really putting on tape that's how I play ball. I like flying around. I'm happy when I'm out there, and I'm passionate when I'm out there. I'm looking forward to turning on the tape and definitely cleaning up the stuff that didn't go well, but other than that, I'm ready to move forward and get better from this game.
we're seeing them just all get better, guys. That's what these rookies are going to do. Every game's just stack good games, stack good performances. You know, every single training camp practice, every single game in the preseason.
So, but of course, he did speak a little bit more on that. He said that returning to Oxnard, he's going to try and, quote, improve 1% daily. So, leading up to the next preseason game against the Seahawks as well.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
every
that's day,
what he wants to do.
By the end of the week, he'll be 6-7% better, and that's what we're going to see against the Seahawks. Hopefully from him. I think it's Friday, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So, and it was actually a bit of an emotional moment for him. So, which again, not surprising, but it is nice to hear. Right? He said, "I did have to settle my emotions, definitely. Putting the jersey on, putting my armbands on through my sleeve, realizing I was about to do this for the Dallas Cowboys. A lot of people dream about it, and a lot of people say, man, I want to do that. And I'm part of that 1% that gets the chance to do that.
You remember, guys,
before the game, I took 5 steps to breathe it in, soaked it in. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else, and I'm glad I'm here. I'm looking forward to the rest of the year."
I just want to remind everybody, he's the guy that had like 15 armbands all the time. That's why he's talking about the armbands. He literally has like his college picture of him with 15 I don't know if he's allowed to do that in the NFL as much, but he had a lot of armbands on. He was known for that, so he's getting back in that football field. And remember, the feel of football, but he loves the Dallas Cowboys. This has been he said it like in his first grade yearbook or whatever. He's like, my dream is to be a Dallas Cowboy football player, and he did that. So that's a true dream right there, and a true Navy Blue, Silver, and Star representative, not just a player, but a fan of the team as well. And by the way, speaking of a fan here at MCF, one of the ballers of all time, Mr. Mark Hovsepian.
Woo.
He dropping that 5 on it.
Thank you, Mark. You know what he
Aloha,
had to say.
sir. What do you have to say?
Ferguson's play and the lack of any O-line depth more than ever shows the clown show. No way we get to a Super Bowl unless our starting O-line is intact and injury-free.
See, I think Ferguson did good. I mean, I'm trying to get a picture if Mark thinks that Ferguson didn't do good. That's the impression I got from his comment. I think Ferguson did pretty damn good. He had 10 snaps, 3 catches. What was it, like 30-something yards? I mean, I think he showed a lot there. He was one of our highest-ranked guys analytically. I disagree with you there. I think O-line depth is the big issue. But I talked about Austin Richards. Actually, Let's Go supposedly did okay. When I rewatched it, he was all right. But again, nothing there I feel good about for a long time, right? For the rest. Farniok did good too, according to the. So those are our 3 best guys right now: Austin Richards, the rookie, Matt Farniok, and Matt Waletzko. That's our depth right now. Our backup 3, right, behind our starting 5, and that's a problem for a long period of time. The one thing I will say is these guys will be around better players if they have to play. Mm-hmm. They won't be around the other backups. They'll be around 4 starters. We hope Zach Martin comes back. They'll be around 4 starters, and then they'll be the 5th, the weak link, right? So,
right.
But again, Jason Renfro dropping that dollar holler there.
Thank you, Jason.
I agree with some of the clown show stuff from Mr. Mark Hovsepian, but this one is not it when it comes to Ferguson, in my opinion.
Yeah,
but the clown show definitely is O-line. They're related. So, yeah, I agree there. Now, by the way, Jason Renfro dropping that dollar holler. I think I know what he said.
He did say "Go Cowboys."
Man, I'm going to say it for him. You're Cowboys.
Thank you, Jason, of course. Always appreciate it. Much love.
Yes. Now, as we continue this thing, and I think I moved up Mr. Mark Hovsepian with a little bit of a jump there, baby. He's jumped into 4th place on this board. So, Mark, you never know. Mark can always pop out of somewhere. You never know when he'll come over and just take over. So, appreciate him, Mr. Mark Hovsepian in the house. And, I just had some of the coffee this morning, by the way. The Hawaii special, the Mark Hovsepian special. Appreciate you, Mr. Mark Hovsepian in the house. So I'll fix the board here as you maybe hit up a comment. Maybe I know you have a couple more comments from the Marvin Overshown.
Yes.
But, okay, I don't know if there's... I'm just fixing the board right now.
Yeah, no, it's okay. So, like I said, Overshown obviously spoke a little bit more by saying, going out there week by week, flying all over the field, trying to beat everybody to the ball. I take pride in being around the ball. That's what I'm looking forward to. Being that guy all year. The one thing I've seen of him, the one thing I got to say, he's been around, he's been flying around the football pretty much the whole game. Wherever the ball was, he was there too. So, I can't disagree with Overshown's hope there. And he definitely succeeded in that. Oh, so, and thank you there, Mark Hovsepian with another $5.
And now he's in 3rd place on the overall board. Much love, the Markov set, making a late run here at the top spot. Mark dropping another 5 on it. What did Mark have to say on it?
He said, "That's my point. Ferguson did so good, yet we reach and use a second-round pick on that tight end when a great offensive lineman was right
I got
there.
you. Great
The
point.
rookie tight end will end up playing very little."
And with the emergence of John Stevens, number 49, who's a former receiver but now playing tight end, we talked about him earlier, Mark. He might have been the right pick, right? He might have been the right like play at the undrafted group. He might push out Peyton Hendershot. I'm just saying, this shows me that we had to go Schoonmaker. We had the guys here already, and we picked up an undrafted. We should have gotten Osiris Torrance possibly, right? Brandon James mentioned another guy that did good today. So, that was the drafted group that was available there in that second round. I hear you, Mark. Mark, I hear you. You know you're preaching to the choir on the Clown Show. You know this. So, appreciate you, Mark. Snug X, man, very attainable. 15 points away on that stream, boss.
Oh. So, thank you so much there. Real quick, kind of rolling back to what I was saying here about Overshown, right? He said, "Going out there week by week, flying all over the field, trying to beat everyone to the ball. I take pride in being around the ball." And I'm repeating it just in case because I got kind of cut off in the middle. So he said, "That's what I'm looking forward to, being that guy all year." And obviously, he feels like he went off to a great start there with what he put on film against the Jaguars just yesterday.
Yeah. I mean, is that everything he said?
Yeah, that's everything from all of our players, at least. So
I got one last thing. I know we have our coach that spoke, and that's the finale of our show here. Yeah, so I
already touched on his update there as far as the injuries, but just in case for the people hopping in here now,
hit up both
Mike
injuries.
McCarthy did mention no serious major injuries, that Dr. Cooper, our team doctor, is just looking over a few guys with bumps and bruises, but Nashawn Wright is in a preliminary boot, just like a precautionary thing, right?
Number 25, Nashawn Wright.
They're doing it to err on the side of caution. And then Malik Jefferson, I think, is the other guy that was a little banged up.
No boot, no wrap, but he's getting an MRI to clarify what the severity of that injury is. By the way,
outside of that, everyone's bumps and bruises, right, so Jason?
That's the injury. That's the injury list, which is knock on wood. It's a good thing that's not anyone too major, and these injuries themselves are not that bad at all. They're neither major, the injuries. So that's great news. Hopefully it continues this way. Snug XO at 13 points. MG 13. Michael Gallup, why? Jason Reffo dropped $1.60 in the house. Much love it. Jason, what did he have to say, baby?
He said, "Go Cowboys."
Go Cowboys. You know it. So, before we talk to or about Mike McCarthy, I guess I'll let you speak on McCarthy first. But, the finale, I want to know what everybody thinks about the kind of the peekaboo of the offense. But first, let's hear what McCarthy said about this game. And his 2 cents on the game, what the plans are going forward, how does he feel the team did, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
So, first of all, McCarthy said that he didn't care that Vaughn's production came against
Deuce Vaughn?
against fellow backups, right? Like it was a backup versus backup situation. He said that he was still impressed with the looks he gave, saying, quote, "He rolled in there and ran conceptually everything that the other guys ran too. I think that speaks volumes about him, and I thought he had a heck of a night. Great introduction to the NFL."
I agree. I will say, though, I do think that putting him in the third and fourth quarters, that to me showed me that Jerry Jones, and I think this is Jerry Jones' move, wanted him to be highlight man against third and fourth stringers.
Yeah, they wanted to keep up that type of play.
Exactly. And they wanted to keep it going, in Deuce Vaughn as well, because that's
similar to what's-his-face that you mentioned earlier. Vaughn is another one of those players
needs
that
to be
you're
tested.
Hoping you see play against the second string teams
and play on our
starters.
Yeah, I like to see Deuce Vaughn's already played with the number ones in practice, so that's he's already shown stuff. And then
of all the guys that played late in the game, he's probably the most likely to actually get a chance to play with some starters or second. Backup.
Again, in preseason games, let's not see these guys, Stevens and Deuce, against fourth stringers. Let's see them against second stringers.
And Steve Hendren, thank you for subscribing.
Yes, welcome to the family. All these drops coming. We got Roger Staubach, 12 points left for Snug X on that stream, boss. That's definitely in danger right now. Definitely in danger. So, I'm sorry. What did Mike McCarthy have to say, baby?
Yeah, so remember, guys, this is Mike McCarthy's offense now, right? So he said calling plays again for him, which is the first time since 2018, so it has been a little while. He said it felt like riding a bike in a lot of ways, but that he still has to be better with the operation, and that he did have a bit of a mix-up at a point there, saying, quote, "Personally, I'm glad to have a number of coaches that worked with me before. I had a little call out of my mouth that's not in the offense, so that was fun. So he corrected that immediately. Truck right was the old strong right. So strong right came flying out of there. And actually it was a big play too. So you can take that for what it's worth.
So verbiage is they're still getting used to the wording of some of these plays, right?
Yes, he just he used their
the old school
yes, the old school way.
Yes.
So, but hey, it's okay. At least he knows what the call is, even if he called it by the wrong thing there.
Agreed.
But
Agreed. That's the important part there.
We do have some more shout-outs to give here in the chat because Clark motherfucking Kent and Marco Seppian with back-to-back
Ooh, man.
$5 hollers.
Much love. Let me update the board once again. Shout them out once again. Appreciate you guys.
So first of all, Clark motherfucking Kent said, young quarterbacks Stenson Bennett and O'Connell's look good today. Would have been good backups here. And also, Mozzie's going to let Micah or D-Law loose soon.
Agree. I agree. People don't even talk about that yet. You're not going to see it in Mozzie's stats. You're going to see it in the other guys on defense, linebackers, edge rushers. You're going to see it in their stats. People don't know, but they're going to know soon. Very good point there.
So, and of course, thank you so much. Appreciate that. Clark Kent, Marco Seppi with his $5 highlight said, we really suck serious dick drafting in round 2. Luke won't play. Sam Williams, how is he doing? He's actually doing fantastic.
Sam is doing good. Sam
Joseph,
is doing good.
McGovern, Williams, Hill, only Diggs hit. So actually, I remember I made a very similar statement recently, and it was actually pointed out to me by the people here in this chat that at least in the last handful of years, we had up until about 3 years ago, it was definitely more misses than hits. Now with the inclusion of the last 3-4 years, it is definitely more of a wins and not misses. Right? We got Diggs in the second round as well. You know, that guy that we just signed to a long-term contract.
Major player right there, right?
Yes. So, by the way, I do feel really bad because I see a back and forth here that I'm not sure who's going to get it. But Jason Redford dropped a $7 holler.
Ooh.
Marco Seppian dropped an $8.
Wait, did you say a Trayvon Diggs? So a Trayvon Diggs and a Troy Aikman. Who wins it?
Yeah.
Who took it? Oh, we got to see in a minute.
Brad Lafferty, thank you for subscribing.
Maybe he took it. We don't know.
I don't know.
We'll have to wait and see. Appreciate Jason. Mark with the back. Jason took it. Lost the point right there at the end.
Oh, there it is.
Mr. Renfro takes the stream boss just by a second right there. Literally a second. Look at that. And Marco Seppian with that Aikman 8. What did Jason have to say, baby?
Oh, thank you, Jason. He said, go Cowboys.
Well, you know it. Go Cowboys.
And mahalo to you, Mark. He said, the clown show is going to kill us. A bunch of great moves, and then you 100% mess up on the O-line? How is Sam Williams doing? Any news on him at all?
I mean, again, watch him yesterday against he was going against, I actually wanted to mention this is a matchup to watch, and he did really good after the starter went out. But again, Sam Williams is not a starter, right? I think he did good. He did okay. He did normal when he was there against the starter for a high first-round pick drafted this year. He did a good job against them, but he wasn't like showing off the screen. I think when he got to his level of guys, where he's at right now, he dominated it. He was setting the edge. He was getting pressure. He's disruptive, and he was doing that last year as well. So I think it's going to continue this year. He's going to get better this year. I'm feeling good about Sam Williams, number 54 for the Cowboys. By the way, yes, I'm updating the board here, so please bear with me, guys, as the wife hits a comment or two, or goes back to the McCarthyisms here that we're going to talk about.
So McCarthy did make it very, very clear that if there was a player that you were hoping to see on the field that was not out there today, well, guess what? They will very likely not be out there at any time, or at least for this upcoming next game, right? He was also kind of straight up asked, hey, does losing this preseason game to the Jaguars change anything at all about like your approach or how you're going to do things? He said, no, I didn't feel that way coming in here, and I don't feel that way right now. I trust our practice environment. That's a big reason why we're staying in California another week. I think the way that our guys practice against each other and they push the envelope, and it's competitive.
I like it. I agree.
And we're going to have 2 big-time practices Tuesday and Wednesday. I think the way our guys compete against each other, I think it serves us well.
Listen, the best defense the Cowboys are going to face on a consistent basis is their own defense. So the offense is getting the most test, in my opinion, out of everybody here. So I'm looking forward to seeing, the iron versus iron. Iron sharpens iron kind of deal, what I mean?
Yeah. So, like we said, guys, this is definitely a new and fun direction that Dallas is
I love it.
Heading in, thankfully. So, and that was it from the big kahuna Mike McCarthy. Again, the biggest thing is obviously those injury updates and him touching on his play calling experience as far as hopping back on that wagon.
Yeah,
so
agree.
Now, yeah, of course, let me real quick, as Modi said, good point, FCF. Griffon81 said, the last thing we should do as Cowboy fans is complain about the drafting. We're one of the better drafting teams.
Agreed. And again, I understand, though, we tripped up. Mark and I both on the same page. It could have even been better, I think. But I don't want to jump the gun. I'm not going to be like, Mark has already got his mind made up. But, you know, to me, it's a more of a situation where it's up to the scheme and how we're going to use these guys. If McCarthy wants to use Luke Schoonmaker as a full-time, kind of like 60 to 80% of the snaps, playing the tight end, playing some fullback role, playing a tight, the receiver tight end, the in-line blocking tight end, I think that's where you could, maybe see the most from Schoonmaker. That's the only way I would say he could be better than maybe the Osiris Torrance pickup. But right now we're suffering on the O-line and the tight end. We got 5 good tight ends on this team. So I understand why there's a little bit of anger when it comes to the drafting at the higher levels, where you see more involvement from McCarthy and a lot of involvement from Jerry Jones. When Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones not involved, that is when you see Dan Quinn. That's when you see, and I'm not saying he hit every single one of his picks, but that's when you really see Will McClay and Chris Hall. These guys then take over, and we get some unbelievable value at undrafted spots, undrafted players that we pick up. So now let me finish this up with the McCarthy factor, the McCarthy scheme. Back on offense here, we just got through the defense. We're wrapping this up. Cowboys, of course, as you can see on the screen, we lost 28-23, the first of our 3 preseason games. We haven't won a preseason opening game since 2017, guys. Will Grier went 22 of 31 for 199 yards, threw 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. Deuce Vaughn had, 8 carries, 50 yards, and a touchdown. He had 3 catches for 6 yards as well. Big one for a first down. Marquise Bell on defense had 10 tackles. Overall, the leading tackler on the team, although when Damone Clark was in there in the first half, he was the leading tackler. So you can see the run support where it's coming from there. Damone Clark as the starting crew, basically, and Marquise Bell as, that safety, box safety type of guy there. Now, another takeaway from this game to me is Mike McCarthy's play calling. Now, I'm going to remind everybody, it's vanilla play calling. It's vanilla offense, meaning it's just going to be some general stuff that every team is trying to do so they don't show too much of their hand when it comes to what they're developing for plays and scheming for teams. So keep that in mind. You're not going to see the full McCarthy, 30% change in a preseason game, especially the first one. But to me, guys, the execution was, to me, a little bit bigger issue because you had a lot of backups. You had a lot of new guys trying to learn things. So there was execution issues, but I think the play calling and the pace was very good. That's what's more important than the actual, like right now we've seen execution falter a little bit. I'm not getting too worried about that right now. To me, the starters will be better at execution on offense, and to me, the starters will be able to run this even better because they get more interaction with Mike McCarthy, and he knows more kind of the feel of what this offense, the starting offense, is all about. You got different guys you're trying to see them make plays, so it's a little different running this scheme. But we did see a little preview of some things, and just as far as the play calling side of things, like getting the plays in, if there's any miscommunication between McCarthy and the coaching staff, we always had this with Kellen Moore. Not now. We didn't have it, guys. The offensive play calling was sharp. And McCarthy didn't even go into his, I would say, team-schemed playbook. He might have, in a real game, he might have been scheming for maybe 4 or 5 new plays just to use against Jacksonville, attack their weaknesses. That's what he's done in the past with Green Bay. He didn't do that. He didn't do that yesterday. Why? It's a vanilla playbook. So let's understand that part. The flow of the play calling, the tempo, was much better than it was, I think, almost at all last year, even if the execution was off. A lot of times on offense, and that really comes down to the offensive line, right, Mark? That's the big place of our offensive line being off. So the preseason is always scaled back when it comes to the playbook. They always, they never put out all your cards out there for a preseason. And again, the playbook is going to be pretty much locked in the vault. We know they're not going to break it out here until week 2, week 1, 2 down the line. It's going to be new plays every week. But it's again, we didn't see what he would call necessarily. We've seen the scheme kind of working and the way he worked the playbook down the field and try to get yardage. There was a lot of, I would say, the execution issues, those miscues, make it easy to overlook how well the game was called by this guy on your screen. Again, exhibition is his first play calling situation since Green Bay. I think it was very good for Mike McCarthy. So let me dive into this. And this is what I love, guys. I love figuring it out with you all, with the family. Hit that like, subscribe, notification bell. I know it's late, but thank you for hanging with the late show here in the Cowboy content creator world right here. My Cowboys family. Much love to Hawaii. Much love to the West Coast. And much love the whole worldwide here, repping that navy blue, silver, and star over everything. We're in the Eastern time zone. You got the Central time zone, Cowboys, the Mountain time zone, Pacific. We're late, so it seems like you guys on the West Coast and Hawaii, you guys get the bigger, you guys get us right there in prime time a little bit. So thank you all for rocking with us. Always appreciate everybody. Now let's dive into my final little breakdown here, which is about Mike McCarthy and the offensive, the way it looks, and I think it looks very promising right now after this preseason game. We got our first look, and really the best look right now from training camp at the Texas Coast offense, the 30% West Coast offense with the Kellen Moore playbook from last year. And as is customary with this West Coast offense, we're going to go through some of the things we did see that match up. Cowboy quarterbacks with a Cooper Rush or Will Grier. We're getting the ball out fast. I'll say how fast in a second. Let me get to the man here, Mr. Jason Renfro. He was the sponsor of the week, Cash App King, and gifting membership winner last week, along with the stream boss when we entered this thing. He's got it back again. He's got that 4 in a row, right? He's locked it down. And the final seconds are ticking off of this week, and we're going to crown some champions. He looks like he's got that membership with 10, and he looks like he's got that, unless someone drops 100, I think Jason's got that stream boss as well. So he's leaving with at least 2 of the 4 pieces of the board, and Snug X got the other 2 pieces right now. Jason Renfro, much love with the dollar holler, and go Cowboys. Now, as I was saying, guys, the very customary in a West Coast offense to get the ball out fast. Cooper Rush, Will Grier, they were operating in a scheme that was basically instructed by McCarthy. It's geared by McCarthy to go through the first 2 reads. You see the receiver, boom, and the tight end, boom. Okay, once you see those 2 reads, you find the check down option. There might be 2 receivers. You look for the 2 receivers, the two reads, and if they're not there when they're supposed to be there, you check the ball down. Drop it down to a running back or a tight end in some situations, right? So, what happens in this situation? What was the result of these, of getting the ball out fast? Well, there's a lot less deep drops and a lot of quick hitters passing the ball. Also, as I like to bring up the whole time yesterday during the game, Cooper Rush and Will Grier were under center. 60-70% of the time? Not so much fucking every play is a shotgun. 3rd and 1, we're shotgun. No. Most of the time, it was not like that. Maybe first down, we shotgun here and there. We threw the ball out on first down. That's the Mike McCarthy tweaks. And I'm going to get into it a little closer on how we ran those plays on first down and other downs. So a lot of less deep drops, meaning they don't take the 8-step drops anymore. A lot less of that. A lot of quick hitting pass routes, pass plays, a lot of yak. 9 of Cooper Rush's 12 attempts, 9 out of 12, were to either a running back or a tight end. The dump down, the check down, dink and dunk. Cooper Rush. Will Grier also doing that as well, but really Cooper Rush had the most there. Will Grier spread out a little bit more. He had 31 attempts. 14 of those 31 attempts, that's a little less than half. We're going to running backs to tight ends. But the point I'm trying to make here is that when you look at McCarthy, what is he doing? He's saying, check your first receiver. Check your second option. If those guys are not there, Dak Prescott, you dump it down to the tight end or the running back. That's what you do. And then if they're not, you break the pocket and scramble. That's the way this offense is going to be under Mike McCarthy. People don't be, launch it, Dak. Fuck all that. Let's win games. That's all I care about. So you can see the emphasis is getting the ball in the hands of the running backs and the tight ends, and then you expand it to the receivers down the field. You go some bigger hits down the field. That's coming in the regular season, guys. McCarthy loved the quick hitting scheme, right? And it played a big part in this. The quick hitters, the quick passing, the boom, boom. Two reads, you throw it. If no one's there, you dump it down. And it worked really good. Cooper Rush averaged, listen to this, guys, our broken offensive line, he still only averaged 2.18 seconds to release that ball, to get the ball out of the pocket. That's quick throws right there, Cooper Rush. We need to keep it under 2.5. 2.5 seconds. If it goes over that, we're getting sacked. getting hit, getting blindsided. Cooper Rush got the ball out in 2.18 seconds per throw. Will Grier, he averaged 2.32 seconds per throw. Both of these numbers you're hearing me say right now are among the top 10 quickest releases for the first week of preseason football. This is not that they're quick release quarterbacks. This is the Mike McCarthy scheme. Feel me? Both, again, just with both these guys kind of running it, that means Dak's going to doing it this way, and Dak is a better quarterback. Dak's going to have better people on the field with him, and this whole thing's going to run a bit smoother. Trust my ass on that. So, again, guys, these guys are the quickest releases in the first week. But again, when you look at last year's average, for the whole year last year, quarterbacks release, how fast they throw the ball, the average throw, 2.74 seconds. If you're playing against our defense, you're probably fucked. But we're getting the ball out under 2.5 seconds, actually under 2.33 seconds. So both these quarterbacks, fantastic when it comes to the average per throw. That's what you got to do. That's what you got to do on this Mike McCarthy schemed new offensive scheme. When you keep looking a little closer to things, what else can you see different from McCarthy and Kellen Moore? The commitment to passing and not passing predictably on early downs. You saw that play to Simi for the first down, and then the next play we did it, or for the on first down and 10, got 9 yards. Next play we did it again. Because they played off, that was the call. If they played off on him, you do the same play. They got the first down. That's McCarthy. Don't care if it don't look good. It gets the job done. So commitment to early down success and on passes, which was an issue last year with Kellen Moore. Remember, guys, Kellen Moore would kill us last year on predictable second down runs after a failed first down pass, and I say also on first down failed runs. Now we're on 2nd and 10, 2nd and 11. And then again, it would force us. Sometimes we would run again. So the point I'm trying to say is that we were one of the highest teams running the ball last year, percentage-wise. Cowboys threw the ball on nearly 2/3 of our first downs. That's a lot. That's 66% of the time we threw the ball on first down. And just under 70%, so almost 70% of our passes on second down were passes. Almost about 69 and change percent. We passed the ball on second down. McCarthy wants to throw the damn ball. How's that? A good chunk of the early downs, like it's hard to say. Again, the early, like when we ran on early downs, it was when Deuce Vaughn got in the game. There's much more handoffs going on there on early downs, on first downs, second downs. We ran more when Deuce was in the game. So Deuce got into the game again. His play was so good they just wanted to keep feeding him. And that's McCarthy. See, Kellen Moore just does whatever's next on his sheet. Let me do this because this is what I had planned. McCarthy's like, this is the hot hand. Keep it going to the hot hand. You guys feel me? I mean, this is like 1 + 1 = 2 here, right? So you're seeing the difference of Kellen Moore, whether you like Kellen Moore or not. I mean, there's no question that Mike McCarthy, I feel, is more in tune to our offense and what the needs are to go around our strength and our skills set of our players. That is the most important thing than just having a cool offensive coordinator. So, again, I will say that, in my opinion, guys, again, the way that Deuce Vaughn responded, the Cowboys kept feeding him, McCarthy kept feeding him. Deuce Vaughn responded fantastic. McCarthy did not break out all of the trick plays. I don't say trick plays. He didn't break out all the stops in this game because it's preseason, guys. Let me remind everybody that. The scheme itself was very vanilla. That's a fact. And it was a combination of not wanting to show opponents too much and wanting players to just get comfortable with the framework, the skeleton of the scheme, and the new approach of this offensive, playbook. So while we've seen a lot more motion and deep shots in training camp than we got to see the two things I'll say were missing was motion. We did a lot of that in training camp, not that much now. And we just didn't really go deep this game. 2-3 times, maybe attempts. But the Cowboys didn't go deep too often. There's no need right now. They're just taking it easy because they're doing it in practice a lot more than they are doing it on the field, at least right now for the first preseason game. So I think it's just about, I think a lot of the issue here was like, a lot of people had complaints that it was too simple of an offense. It's funny when we had Kellen Moore last year. I think you gotta wait on this as every week builds. I think you'll see more and more of what the Cowboys are trying to develop when it comes to the offensive scheme. But again, these are things that we saw week 1 in preseason, and I think they're real deal stuff that's going to stick. Now, I also like the up-tempo stuff. You saw the up-tempo moments throughout a couple drives where we'd like run first down, whatever we would play on first down, second down, on the ball, quick huddle, no huddle, snap the ball again. They can't make adjustments. We had a plan. We know what we were going to do first and second down. The whole team knew it. The defense didn't know it. The defense is sitting there scrambling. They cannot get new players in there. They cannot adjust to our possible look on the field, personnel-wise, scheme-wise, setup-wise. They're going to have linebackers covering Deuce Vaughn now. That's going to be a problem, right? When you could keep these guys from making their adjustments, and you keep the defense even a little bit more tired as well. So that combination of things is part of it. And then all of a sudden he'll go back to the huddle after 2 plays quick. Go back to the huddle, do another play, get back to the huddle. Then you got quick again all of a sudden. I like that. I want to see more of that. And that's another hint of what McCarthy's trying to do. So, again, if you're looking for some negatives, I think that after trying to see what's going on in the running game outside of Deuce Vaughn, the rushing offense was the biggest issue, I think. Offensive line / running game. Malik Davis, Rico Dowdle, they entered the game as the top 2 contenders as the backup running back. And, Ronald Jones, you got his suspension 2 games. He's not able to play because of the groin injury. None of these 2 guys that were supposed to be the number 2 behind Tony Pollard, Malik Davis or Rico Dowdle. Rico looked much more explosive, but he has ball security control issues. I mean, again, he cannot be fumbling the ball. He had this issue, I think, in the past. So if he's going to be fumbling the ball, we're going to be definitely running the ball a lot. You guys said in the chat, we'll be running the ball a lot, testing his handle there on the football. And then, Malik Davis, a bit disappointing. He did go up against the starting defense more than Rico did. So I want to see another week of Malik Davis out there on the field. But without question, Rico Dowdle was much more explosive running the ball. Got to hold on to the ball, though, and make the team. So we'll see what happens. That makes it obvious to me that Deuce Vaughn obviously got bumped up here into the mix now. I don't think he's the running back. He's our second running back yet. But if you're looking for 15 snaps from someone, I think if that makes him the number 2, then so be it then. So be it. Just saying. I'm going to leave it at that. So, again, the offensive line, let's not forget, they struggled to open holes the entire night. From the starters that they played against in Jacksonville, which was even worse, and throughout the night, they really were not consistent, the offensive line, the depth as a whole, right? So that's a major issue there. Again, the backups were facing the starters, like I said, against Jacksonville. So that obviously, they have a very good, the 6th best defense last year, I think, Jacksonville. So we were actually, our offense should have trouble with the starting defense of Jacksonville. But it's still a concern when you think about offensive line depth. Right, Mark? I think we all agree there. So the so-called soft launch of this Texas Coast offense, this Texas Coast scheme by McCarthy, to me, I give credit to Mike McCarthy, and it was a successful opening of his scheme, in my opinion. Cooper Rush or Will Grier, they looked comfortable for the most part, except that they were getting hit because offensive line couldn't block long enough. And yes, you don't start Dak Prescott on that field with that offensive line. But the scheme helped out the pass protection, which I've been saying all year, all offseason. That's why you see quicker passes whenever we have that offensive line issue, and it will be that when Tyron Smith goes down. Or, I hope we get Zach Martin back in time. I'm just saying, Terrence Steele got to stay healthy the whole year. When someone falls down off this thing, it will not be as bad as what we're seeing now because there's 5 scrubs out there. One, you take their best scrub and you put him in the mix, he won't be as bad as he's looked, but he definitely will be the obvious worst player on the offensive line. Even with all that, the quick hitters, the 1-2 reads, and then you dump it down. That's why McCarthy implemented that, because he knows he's not getting help from Jerry Jones to get a good offensive lineman and solidify the depth. No. We got to risk this the whole year. So if we're going to risk it, let's get somebody who's good enough to plug that hole. And we know we got that quick scheme going, quick plays, quick passes, and that's going to help any kind of pass rush or any kind of Farniok missing a block. We should get the ball out fast enough. So that's what I think, and I've been saying this all offseason. That's what McCarthy was going to try to implement in the scheme. I saw it yesterday. You guys saw it yesterday with us here. We all saw it together here on My Cowboys Family. So again, the scheme helped out the pass protection with the bad offensive line. A lot of pass catchers, the receivers, tight ends, running backs were getting open. They were getting open to make plays. Sometimes they were just not getting enough separation or so, but it was not a lot of execution issues. It was far from perfect, but again, a good first start for this new offensive scheme from Mike McCarthy. I'm going to leave it at that here. As I wrap it up, the wife has to get up a lot earlier than I do, so she actually said, I was in the middle of my thing here, and she's like, I've got to go out. So I apologize. Good night to the wife, of course, and go Cowboys. But as I wrap it up here, I'm going to hit the chat up here in a minute and then announce some of the champions that we got to crown right now. When it comes to this upcoming Week 2 preseason game, it sounds like the Cowboys will not be, as the wife said earlier with McCarthy speaking, he kind of reiterated that the Cowboys are going to probably not play our veterans, our stars, most of our starters in the remaining preseason games versus Seattle on Friday and the Las Vegas Raiders, the following weekend before the opener, of course, against the Giants, which, of course, all the starters will play then. That's a McCarthy call there. And, as I wrap it up here, we sit down McCarthy here a little bit. Good job there. I appreciate what McCarthy's doing with an improved play calling. I mean, when you have Kellen Moore never adjusting, you're seeing McCarthy constantly adjusting, that's a good plus, big plus for this offense and this team. Now, as you can see here, that's the other thing I wanted to say, guys. Tomorrow, if you're going to this August 14th practice, as you can see, it says 11 a.m. Pacific time there. Adjust your time zone accordingly. But Monday, August 14th is actually a change. Parking lots open at 8 if you're going to go there, 8 Pacific time. Early entry starts at 9 Pacific time. General admission entry starts at 9:30 a.m. And practice, instead of 11, starts at David Clark dropping that subscribe right here. Welcome to the family. David Clark in the house, now part of the MCF crew. Appreciate you. Go Cowboys. But yes, again, it's not 11 a.m. Pacific now. It is 10 a.m. Pacific time. So if you're going to go to that practice, it's going to be a lot earlier. Also, if you're going to keep your guys tuned into MCF, get ready to see videos starting to drop. It could be at 1:30. I'm sorry, I won't say 1:30 my time here, but on the East Coast. But it could be 10:30, 11 o'clock Pacific time. Adjust your time accordingly. Maybe a half hour to an hour after the practice kicks off. You'll see some videos maybe dropping, and it definitely a lot faster tomorrow. The video recap will be dropped than usual because of the earlier practice start. So just want to throw that out there, guys. That's only for tomorrow's practice. The final practice in Oxnard is on Tuesday, August 15th, and that one's still at 11 a.m. Pacific time. So after this, they fly back. They fly to Seattle, get a practice up in there. They don't play Seattle in the scrimmage. We play them in the preseason game, and then the Cowboys fly to Oxnard. And I think August 22nd, 3rd, and 4th, is it? Cowboys have 3 days in a row. They practice to the public to finish up, training camp in the last preseason game. That's it. That's the schedule, guys, as we wrap it up here on my Cowboys family. Let me see who's in the house with the family and dropping the knowledge in the chat right now. Oh, let me get this thing updated. And guys, don't forget to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. Much love to the guys that have been running the show here. Jason Renfro has currently all 4 boards. He's a sponsor of the week for the last moments. He is the current Cash App King. He's got 99 points in that stream, boss, and he is the gifting winner last week, the king of the gifting memberships. And this week, if nothing changes, Jason Renfro is repeated back-to-back like our 90s Cowboys as the weekly gifting membership champion. And he's got 10. Last week he had 35, dominating with the record right now, 35 in a week. Skeptical has the record for the streak of 3 months and the overall months lead. That's a record. I mean, they're probably going to be broken. Much love, Skeptical fan. But Jason Renfro back at top with 10 gifted memberships. That's from my count. Appreciate you, Jason Renfro. And the other name to shout out here, outside of everybody who dropped the love from above tonight, Jason Renfro, Dwayne Broussard, Skeptical Fan, Brandon James Shea, Double R, Clark and Kent, and Mark Hosepian, the great Mark Hosepian. Let me shout out Snug X, because if nothing changes once again on that side of things, guess who takes over the top spot on the sponsor of the week? On the sponsor of the week, it's gonna be Snug X. No, not Jason Renfro. He's dropping it to Snug X as the Cash App King as well. So Snug X comes in with 2 controlled spots here tomorrow. Jason got the other 2 spots, it looks like, for tomorrow. If I don't say it again, you know who won. You know who's doing it. Appreciate you, Snug X. You know why. We know why he's here. And we know why Jason's here as well. Both you guys. It's that navy blue. Silver 2. Star for everything. We got to get that 6 and beyond. Hit that like and subscribe, guys. Let me hit up the chat here. Ronaldo Rodriguez. Which running back is going to protect Dak? It's going to be the quick throws that protect Dak. The Cowboys probably will not sign Zeke because he's asking for 2 Too much money. So that's my answer to you. I'll say it as quickly as answers as I can as we do the shout-outs. Stoned Immaculate said, chomping at the bit for week 1. Hell yeah, everybody's going to be dying to play there because these starters and vets are not going to be playing much, if at anything, in preseason. Double R, appreciate you, man. Take care. Peace. Good night. Yeah, in India, you're in the Eastern time zone, huh? I didn't know I thought Indianapolis was in the Central time zone. Jason in the house. Jason Renfro, he said, backup quarterbacks need to go through the progression much faster. They seem to be holding the ball too long. They actually, again, Jason, top 10 on both these guys and getting rid of the ball in this game. So actually, they're doing a good job. It was the fact that we have a shitty offensive line is why it looked like they were constantly under duress, which with our starters, it should not be that bad. Dak still got to get the ball out quick in that same under 2.5 seconds, kind of set there. So double R for the first 5 games, none of those teams can compete with the Cowboys this season. I hear you, brother. 808 Cowboy Bird Killer said, watch that 20-yard run by Deuce. Schoon sprung him. Yes, Schoon opened that hole for him there. Schoonmaker is a great blocker as well, guys. So let's see. Again, that's what I'm thinking. Osiris Torrance, we're missing the lineman blocking, but we're getting a tight end blocking. And the Cowboys specifically wanted that. So let's see how he's utilized. I'm going to hold off on hating him. It's not his fault, but I think right now, could we have gotten Osiris Torrance? It would have been more useful right now. Maybe. Yes, probably, possibly. But in McCarthy's scheme, I don't know yet. So that's what I'm waiting on. Bird and Schoon to help the run blocking game. Already seeing the upside. I agree, 808 Cowboy. Double R, Cowboys should go for 5-0 by week 1. Mozzie, Bird Killer, 808 Cowboy said Mozzie needs to get in with the habit of attacking. I agree. In a year, by next year, he'll have it. I hope the pass rush will be there. But I think he'll master, let's just say, his run stop ability this season, into this season. Cactus G, you get Dak to do that. Listen, Cactus G, Dak has to hold the ball because there's no one open. And Kellen Moore's offense, half the teams knew our scheme. So McCarthy's offense will help. Guarantee it. Double R said Mozzie's going to fit right in. I agree. Orlando said, how many quarterback sacks, turnovers? Sorry, I didn't see what you first team. I didn't see what you said about first team couldn't run the ball. Yeah, and again, the blitz, it was all about getting the ball out quick. 808 Cowboys said the Cowboys didn't give up a lot of sacks. Why? I'll tell you why. It was because Dak got out of sacks there, 808 Cowboy. Coaches wanted him to run first. We're not running first, though. But the ball got in the hands of running backs and tight ends on running-like plays through the air. The Cowboys using more passing. What's up, Tim Pinnell? Jason Renfro, Double R, Cactus G, Clark motherfucking Gant in the house. He said he got great speed, but can he block? Well, again, Deuce Vaughn. If you're talking about Deuce, I do think he'll be good. If you're talking about Schoonmaker, I agree. He's more like you said there. He's going to be more like a Jason Witten type. Double R says Spoon will be ready till next season. Yeah, Escobar passed away. Clark Kent. Yep. He was also a second rounder. That's true. Stone Immaculate. Cowboys make great draft picks, not all the time, but most of the time. That's Will McClay pushing his side of things. I agree. Asmodeus here with us. Much love. Representing Memphis. And you got the superior Garrett. Thomas Garrett. He representing Nashville with that star of everything. Tennessee fully represented here. Double R. Mark Hovsepian representing Hawaii. Appreciate you as always. Aloha, brother. And we'll see you back again soon. We got Mr. Jason Renfro with the takeover. Still hanging on to half the board. Appreciate him always. Griff181. He's a blocking tight end. I'm hearing you, man. I hear you. Schoonmaker is, showed out. I just want to see, we got to see more of him, right? I said it earlier. They're different kinds of tight ends. So I think it's almost like a different position at times, right? Ferguson did good. Schoonmaker, Stevens. Yeah, I agree. Defense at Alfred Chavez. Daniel Berry Sports in the house. Abel Polanco. I think I can't get to my that's it. That's all I can do here, guys. We had a power-packed night, 2 hours in, I think, at least 2 hours. We've been rocking it here tonight with you guys on MCF. An hour, 42 minutes. I'm talking 2:08. We bounced that up. Just doing a little overtime with you all here, guys. We had a lot of fun talking about this game. I don't care what the final score says. It'll be off the screen tomorrow because the scores don't mean crap. It's about the performance of players, and they did a great job to incorporate into our team. On that note, guys, congratulations. Number one, Jason Renfro dominating this past week, and ending up with dominating half the board of our 4 spots. Congrats to Jason Renfro, 99 points in the Stream Boss. And, of course, the back-to-back membership gifter, weekly gifting champion. Twice in a row, much love to Jason Renfro. He did have to, though, pass on the baton of the sponsor of the week to the great Snug X, and we know why he's here. And Snug X, of course, also taking the crown from Jason Renfro as our Cash App King. Tomorrow it all resets. Restarting, guys, and we'll be doing all the news, info, and updates. Keeping in tune in line here for the earlier practice times and practice videos coming out in training camp tomorrow right here on My Cowboys Family. And never forget why we do this each and every night here on My Cowboys Family. It's about that navy blue, that silver too, that star over everything. We always rip that star. And again, when you talk about that win, lose, or draw, good, bad, or ugly, we got to talk about it all here on My Cowboys Family. And that's what it's about here in MCF. So thank you all for rocking it with us here on YouTube for 6 years plus, My Cowboys Family. Never forget the number one thing here, now, and forever. As always, go Cowboys! Let's get that 6 and beyond. Thank you all for dropping the knowledge in the house. 808 Cowboy. Good night, Rolando Rodriguez, Stone Immaculate. Appreciate you, Asmodeus, Cactus G. Everybody in the place to be. Hit that like, subscribe, notification bell. We got a raffle coming around the corner soon, so keep it in tune here. And, we'll be picking this up once again tomorrow afternoon into the evening. We're going to do our live stream, and it's going to be we'll hear more from what the wife has to say about tomorrow's practice as we're closing up camp there in Oxnard, California. Guys, on that note, your drops of knowledge in the chat. Cannot do this without your guys back and forth. The drops of love from above. Appreciate the best fans of all YouTube. You know it. But all good things must come to an end tonight. Tonight, it is now the stream. This show is now over officially, guys. Before we can clock out for the night, relock and reload tomorrow for another one, before we can, get out of here officially and drop out for the night, as the wife always says, before we can drop out of here for the night, we got to drop the beat. Oh, yeah. Beat's been dropped. Have a good night out there, guys, and stay safe. I mean, listen, if you got any Eagle fans out there you see walking around, if they talking a little ish, remind them simple mathematical facts. 5 is always greater than 1. Oh, hell yeah. Cry, Eagles cry. That's what I'm talking about. Now, hey, on that note, guys, remember, 5 is greater than 1. We'll have to hear from the Eagle fans. It's only about that star over everything. That's what's number 1 here. And another Cowboys chat in the books. Another week in the books. We relock and reload tomorrow for another one. Thank you for joining us for this recap of the preseason game 1 versus Jacksonville in AT&T Stadium. We got great information, input from some of these players. Deuce Vaughn, Mozzie Smith, the Marvin Overshown, Jalen Tolbert, John Stevens. A lot of young guys coming through. I mean, Jalen Tolbert is a second-year guy. Everybody else, rookie that I talked about, undrafted or drafted. McCarthy's scheme seems to be going in the right direction, the right trajectory. Right, guys? I love it. Scorpio, thank you for the drops. Drop them if you got them, guys. If you're in a membership, drop those emojis right now. We'll be resetting them probably tomorrow for the upcoming Seattle game. I got some good ones for you guys there. Here, right here on MCF, it's always about that navy blue, that silver too, that star over everything. Never, ever forget the number one thing right here on My Cowboys Family. Much love to everyone in the house. Appreciate you all, guys. Stay safe. Have a good start to your week. Tomorrow, we'll check in again tomorrow night. Take care, guys. Take care, family. Stay safe. Peace out. And never, ever forget, go Cowboys!
Monk on the beat.